we done a lot of different things for India, good things, but we also robbed them blind as well. So they'd always say to me, oh, Tumhara Rani Chor. It was like, your queen's a thief. Yeah. Past one, I've woke up and I've looked about and there's 210 bodies with white. I thought it was in a morgue. They've drugged all the guards in the drinks. They've got shot out the thingy, rappelled him down the ropes, got in an helicopter over to Burma and then on a speedboat over to Malaysia or somewhere like that. And I'm thinking, that's a bit OTT.
So they ruled the prison?
He used to go out on weekends to go to home visits and everything else with 10 guards and stuff. But he actually got his son to come in the prison and stay over one night, and he had his own cell, his own little like house, if you like. He used to get roses and plant them in the garden bit at the side.
Oh my God, he had it made?
Oh, he had it made. And he went, can't believe he's give you 20 years. I went, he's give me 10 years. You'd have gone. He went, no, it's 20. Look at the paper. Got the paper and it's British man gets 20 years. I want to die. I don't want to be here no more. I'm just so low.
Have you heard or seen anything from the guy who's responsible for you going to
No,
prison?
he's disappeared from there. I believe he went to Ireland and down London. Then I got told he was around my area. And at first I was driving past in his house and I thought, you know, if I see him, what will I do? Will I go back to jail for murder? He could never give me compensation for them 10 years. Even £1 billion won't suffice. I mean, the cats didn't touch the rats. The rats were massive.
The rats were bigger
The
than the
rats
cats?
were absolutely massive, honest to God. I got malaria 5 times within an 8-month period.
From the mosquitoes, is it?
We used to have competition. We'd go and see how many blood splats you could get. I think I got 8 once. So that was the 8 in one go. You know what they give me? Paracetamol.
Cure for everything.
Paracetamol. I found out my nan had died, and you know, obviously, they told me you can't grieve as the same because you're finding out it happened 3 years ago. I was terrified, I'll be honest with you. You know, it's just everything's so alien. You know, you don't understand the language or anything, and it's all sort of, it's like you're living in a dream sort of thing.
Do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
To my mum,
Sounds like you guys are really
it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right. And then I break down and cry and go, Mum, I'll be all right, you know, and don't worry. I was a state, to be honest. My head was all over, you know. But I still believed as a British, you know, citizen that we've got power and they'll do something for us and I won't be here, and that's not the case. That is not the case. She got in contact with the local MPs. She done everything she could, basically. She's a warrior. She was a warrior, you know, God bless her soul. But yeah, without my mum, it would have been a lot harder, I tell you. I could say,
whoa!
That was good.
Dave?
I have to cut that bit.
Got a blooper.
Hey, I think that was my mum. Yeah.
So we've tried to get people who've had prison experiences around the world. One of my favourite books, actually, is Shantaram. And the conditions he describes in the prison are just absolutely mind-blowing. Brutality, the guards, the way they treat the prisoners, the poverty, the way that spills over into the prisons. And Baz here, he's got his book, No Tension, referred to by Darryl Aycock, shout out to him. And we're going to be going down this dark journey of what it's like in the Indian prison system. But not only that, it's even more frustrating for Baz because, unlike myself, he was innocent. We're going to get to what landed him in there. But huge thank you for coming on, firstly.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We like to start, take people deep into the system to begin with before we go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Have you got a story that, you could describe that's quite hard-hitting going into one of these prisons?
I suppose I could start sort of 6 months in, if you like, because I was moved to a high security area, which is called Underbarrack. In Hindi, it means sort of a prison within a prison. It's sort of a stone structure which is within the prison.
Yeah.
Again, it's for high security people. I was put in there because I couldn't really cope with the conditions and the people, the noise. There was 220 people, men, obviously, in a barrack system, which is a sort of stone structure made only for 80 men. So you're all like sardines. You've got your 2 foot by 6 foot mat on the floor. But like I said, there's no room and there's never any peace. You just can't get away from the constant, you know. So for the first couple of months, obviously I'd gone in the prison with the expectation of violence. So I had the attitude of, you know, I was on to everyone and ready to fight everyone, and you don't, you know. But it seemed pretty calm where there wasn't sort of much fighting. But the superintendent in the end basically said, I'll put you in this area. The area was actually, like I say, it was inhabited by one man called Ajmal Kasab. He was a lone surviving terrorist from 2008 bomb blasts in Mumbai. There's a lot of films and things out about him. And he actually got moved to a bomb-proof barrack, which they built. Yeah, exactly. Well, 1.5 billion people wanted to bomb him, basically, you know, because obviously Pakistan and India, they have their problems with each other. And this guy was a Pakistani, obviously. No one seen him, or he was kept under very, very high security. They built that bomb-proof sort of 2010, maybe May, because it was my birthday, I remember 2010. And they moved me in there when he moved out. So it was a stone circular structure. It had a tower in the middle, lookout tower, where you could walk and see, you know, with the gun and watch all the sort of separate cells. You had 1 number area, it had 9 cells, 2 number the same, 3 number, 4 number, sort of the circular. The cell would sort of be wider at the top and it'd taper because of the stone structure, if you like. It was 6 foot wide at the top. It tapers to, say, 4 foot. You'd have your hole in the floor, you know, your obligatory toilet area. And you'd have a sort of little stone wall in front for your privacy. And basically I was put in there. For the first couple of weeks I was on my own. More people started to get put in the under barrack. So we had to sort of pad up with 2. It was either 1 or 3 per cell, if you like. So they put me in the cell with one guy. The first guy basically was from, he was a Pakistani guy, but he'd hijacked a plane to Kandahar. So, you know, it's not someone you meet every day. He couldn't speak much English. Yeah, I mean, his English was very, very poor. I'd learned very basic Hindi by then, how to eat food, or, you know, water, pani or whatever you say for water, just the basics. So we couldn't really converse. But yeah, what a mad character. And excuse me, like I say, I was in there then for the following, the remaining time under trial. Basically, I was then put in the under barrack, and over that period of time, I met like quite a few interesting characters, you could say.
Because some of the interesting characters you said were Bollywood stars.
Yeah, yes. So Bollywood's like Hollywood, if you like, for people that don't know. So it's massive. It's like your Hollywood in America. So obviously...
How did they end up inside?
One was a rape case. But basically, in India, the women have so much power. You can say to a woman, I'll marry her, and if 6 months' time you've not married them, they can file a rape charge on you.
Oh, wow.
They have so much power. I used to say, if this happened in the English judicial system, they'd be, half the men would be in prison, wouldn't they?
Is that what happened to the dwarf?
Yes. The dwarf was a rape case. And I used to say, you know, how could he overpower a woman at, 3 foot height? But apparently they drugged her and stuff. And so whether it's true or not, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
So I've got so many questions. Did you say it's called the Andover prison?
Anda, A-N-D-A. Anda barrack.
Anda barrack.
Yeah.
All right. So just to put the time into sequence then, what year was it you went into Anda?
2010 in the May.
2010, you're on remand, you moved in with the high-profile guys, and you basically then, this is like the Osama bin Laden of India, isn't it, this Mumbai terrorist guy?
Oh,
yeah, hundreds of people die.
There was 300 and odd died, basically, yeah. They terrorised the city in Mumbai for like 3-4 days.
Did they come in on boats or something?
That's right, yeah, they come over on a boat.
Fully automatic?
Yeah. And they've done the Kama Hospital, they've done the Taj Mahal, which is a 5-star hotel, you know, it's a massive hotel.
Yeah.
And they ransacked that. I mean, there's films about it, and, you know, so it was like massive at the time.
I
And
think my sister said she was out there weeks before it happened or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a few, obviously, there was a lot of international people there, you know, Europeans, English, and because the Taj Mahal sort of the place to stay if you go to Mumbai, like, so.
And what was the atmosphere like with all these people there?
What in the
prison?
Yeah, in a prison.
Because they were high profile, extreme.
Yeah. Was there a lot of violence, or was it
No,
quite calm?
basically, because they kept, again, under high security, you're not allowed to roam around the prison. For example, you're always took out by a guard. So that person, you know, the different people, as in high profile, where people want to kill him. You know, there was one guy who was actually stayed in the cell with for 18 months, a very good friend of mine. He became a guy called Santosh Shetty. Now, he was basically sent back from Thailand, extradited from Thailand. He was on the run for a lot of years. And he was a very big gangster from the 90s. And he was associated with a guy called Dawud Ibrahim, who's in the top 10 most wanted still. There was all these sort of, there was 4 or 5 of them. Terr0rist, he's got a big gang. So there's all these sort of, and they was all together. And as you know, with the gangsters, there's a bit of paranoia all the time. Oh, he was going to shoot me, and they've heard such a thing. And so they've all broke up. But sort of in the 2000s, he was in Thailand, and my good friend Santosh was a good friend with Terr0rist. So Dawud Ibrahim had ordered a hit on Terr0rist in Bangkok. They've shot him a couple of times. He's in the hospital under police guard, 3rd and 4th floor full of police. So Santosh had been there. They've sort of got the guards on side, few beers and everything. You know, these countries, you bit of money and you're the best friends. Few beers, next couple of weeks, then he's been doing rappelling lessons. Now, he's telling me this story and I'm thinking, this is a bit over the top. I don't believe this guy. He was locked in his cell for 2 weeks. He wouldn't come out just to get the gist of it, because obviously people wanted to kill him. And he's telling me this story, and he said, we took these rappelling lessons up the ropes and that. I thought, right. 2 weeks after, they've drugged him. Oh, sorry, they've drugged all the guards in the drinks. They've got shot out the thing, rappelled him down the ropes, got in an helicopter over to Burma, and then on a speedboat over to Malaysia or somewhere like that. And I'm thinking, that's a bit OTT, this. He's telling a few porkies. So 2 or 3 days later, you get papers there in English print as well. There's a midday in the Hindustan Times and things, it's in English print. And this midday paper was there, and we opened the middle pages, and it was like big colour thing, and picture 1 was with the ropes, picture 2 they're getting in the helicopter, and so it was actually true, you know. But like I say, he become a really good friend, and the sort of respect and power he had really helped me as well, because at that point things were a lot easier when I was with him. Everyone knew me. I was sort of a superstar in my own right. But I was also friends. Terr0rist got brought in. His group, his gang, they was all in 2 number. Now, I used to be friends with them. So sometimes I go over with them, and there was one guy who was really, really close with him as well. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're with Santosh, and all that. Oh, he tried to shoot me one time, you know, and I'm like it's a game, you know. So it was crazy. And he was like, people saying, but, you know, they're what? I'm nothing to do with it. I'm English. I don't care what their problems are, you know. I just get along with everybody sort of thing. So that was a bit what's it as well, yeah, but...
So the top-level terror guys, were they educated? Were they well-spoken? Were they polite?
Oh, very, very well-spoken. I mean, obviously, I was in that area for nearly 3 years under trial. And like I say, over the course of time, Santosh come in 2011, it was, sort of Christmas time. But before that, I was like with different terrorists. You know, it was all respectful. They're obviously all Muslim, so they do the prayer at 5:30. But I'd have my mat there, there'd be one there. They phone me mat, so they could get their prayer mats out to face whichever way they face, to do the prayer. So he's all very respectful, but I'll tell you what, they're all very, very intelligent. So to do these crazy things where they think it's okay to bomb 258 innocent women and children, including, you know. And this was he actually got hanged in the end, the guy I was with, because they still do capital punishment over there. So unfortunately, some of the people that were close friends did get the death penalty eventually and got hung. But
so when you started associating with these guys, did your conditions improve? Like food, environment?
The food improved. The environment didn't improve, but like I say, in Underbarrett, you had 24-hour running water, and that was a massive, massive thing, because you get it twice a day in the other areas. So you have to fill your buckets, you have to keep them. Now, water is such a massive commodity, but until you've not got it, you'd never know. You need to wash your dishes, you need to wash your ass, you need to, you know, everything. You need for everything, basically, to flush your toilet and stuff. So when you've got that 24-hour water, that was massive for me. That was the biggest thing. But obviously once, once I was in with Santos himself, he was paying the guards. He'd give me the money, superintendent, and get 40,000. That's rupees, by the way, which was about £400 at the time. So they'd get it off him. There was another guy there as well. He was very, very big. So he used to pay him like 1 lakh, which is like £1,000. So he used to get £1,000 a month. So basically then they had the sort of run of the jail where, you know, I'll give you one example. Mustafa Dosa, he's called. Basically, he's again gangster from the 90s. He used to bring a lot of gold from Dubai. Had his fingers in all pies. Got a lot of businesses within Mumbai. So this is the sort of power they had within the prison. My friend Feroz and another guy that was in bombings, basically bombs people. And Feroz, he was a number carrier of Mustafa Dosa, which is a co-accused basically in English. So he's co-accused, so he had a bit of power and stuff. We're all asleep one morning. It's before they call it Bundy, before they open up the cells. So the guards are coming round. Now you need to sit up, so they count you. In the Barrett system, you'd all be in pairs, sat on in pairs, and they come round. It's like Jody. The Jody means pair basically. And if you're still asleep, you get a whack. And there's many people got cracked. You'd all be laughing in the morning because they wouldn't wake up. So one guy's ill, Farouk. So Farouk's ill, so he's laid there. So the guard comes, a bit of a dickhead, and he's like, "Hey, wake up. So he's speaking to him in Hindi, "Hey, Terry Marky," like calling him a motherfucker and all this. So the guard's like, you what? Opens the gate. Now he's not supposed to do that. Next minute, they're fighting. I'm jumping in, trying to split them up. Other guards are running anyway. All calms down, gets locked in, extra hour before they open up. Superintendent calls us, it's called a mundal carrier. Basically, it's like a wooden hut where all the guards sit. So we goes in there. They want me and Farouk as witnesses to what's happened, to write a report. We goes in there. Mustafa walks in with like £500 Louboutin shoes on or something, like 10 grand kettle on his wrist and that. And he walks in and he's like, superintendent in Hindi sort of saying, what's going on? So he said, well, you know, they've had this thing. He said, well, why is it opening before? And he's like, sorry, bye. Like, sorry, brother. Like, you know, he had more respect for Mustafa than the other way around. And then he started ripping into the guard and giving him slaps. And I was like, wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's just because he won't get his £1,000 a month, will he? Now, obviously, the wages are very, very low. So that £1,000 to him is massive.
So they ruled the prison?
But basically ruled it. He used to go out on weekends to go to home visits and everything else with 10 guards and stuff. But it was happening, yeah. He actually got his son to come in the prison and stay over one night, and he had his own cell, his own little like house, if you like. He used to get roses and plant them in the garden bit at the side.
Oh my God, he had it made?
Oh, he had it made. I mean, he's so powerful. He was a millionaire basically, and you know, he had so much power within the prison. Like I say, money is power within Indian prisons. So
I know some of the viewers are wondering how it was without any toilet paper.
But it's quite hard it was quite hard to adjust. Obviously the food situation and the heat and everything, I mean the noise, I mean everything, but that was tricky for the first few days. I mean, basically you'd have to wash with a jug. It'd be sort of a watering can style jug. So maybe so you can be a bit further away, I'm not sure, but you get that. But to get one of them, there's not many about anyway. So you come out, obviously I was in the barrack for the first few months. And within the prison, I don't understand why, but barrack number 11 is for, they call it Teen Sadu, which is 302. They have a code for each offence, if you like. That's murder. 302 is murder. So they've got a barrack just for murderers. Then they've got a barrack for NDPS, which is narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Obviously, any drug cases, they're in one barrack and stuff. So all your drug dealers can get connections, sort of thing, you know. I don't understand the logic of it. But then they'd blow the whistle in the morning, the gate would open, you'd all run to the toilet outside, there'd be a big row of them. Say there was 40, 25 wouldn't be clean straight away. You've got to go and get your water from the sort of well. It's like a rectangular structure where there's a tap at the end, a pipe, and it'd pour out and you'd fill up and then go, sort of thing. Take your soap, take your box it. Finish what you're doing when you've let on to everyone in the morning, looking over, morning. You know, they're looking for the toilet. You're sat there, well, you're squatting actually. You're not sat there, are you? You're squatting over the hole and you're looking up and people are looking at, someone's in there. Or you'd throw your shorts over normally. You just leave me shorts on and like, they still look over and be like, obviously someone's in here, mate, you know.
Put the sign out, yeah.
Yeah, so you didn't even get peace having you know, a number 2 sort of thing. So, but it's very hard because obviously you're right-handed. So you'd have to hold it with the jug with that hand, get your soap, rub it on your hand first and then wash away and stuff.
So it's soap and a jug. There's not a rag involved or anything like that?
No, nothing like that, no.
Yeah.
No, you just wash it away.
Sorry, how many jugs per person?
It depends how big your shit was. No, I mean, obviously you can only get the one jug because the water's 10 yards away, 20 yards away. So if you've not got enough wash, you'll have to run out and get more and sort of finish it off that way. But yeah, but that was quite hard, you know, to sort of get my head around that.
Of course.
Yeah, on my arse round it, should I say.
So you mentioned the heat then. Like,
Yeah.
what on the English scale did it get up to?
I don't even touch the English scale. It's like 40 degrees in
40s, in the 40s.
In sort of May, June, just before the monsoons. Obviously, Asia gets monsoons, sort of July, August, over that period. But it's so hot as well, even at monsoons. That's when it's the most, humidity's really high.
Was there any kind of ventilation system?
In the barracks, you had your circular fan on the ceiling.
Fan.
Yeah. You have like 6, like I said, the barrack would probably be twice as long as this studio. Then you'd have sort of 6 fans. You'd have your string up for your washing everywhere. You'd have a plastic bag behind you with your belongings. And then, like I say, it was just so many people congested. I mean, there's one story I can tell you. It was only a couple of weeks in. And it was, like I say, it was winter time then. Night time, it gets a bit chilly, drops to 15 or something. So they give you a white sheet to cover yourself with, if you like. So this night, anyway, smoked a bit and that at the time, and they got ganja in these guys, and they're saying, come on, it's like a big ritual. You'd all sit on his mat, cross-legged. That took a while to get used to cross my legs. But they started doing it. So I was a bit stoned, you know, I've gone to sleep. And it's about 12, and then about 1:30 I've woke up. And I've looked about, and there's 210 bodies with white. I thought it was in a morgue. I was having a panic attack. I'm like, it was terrifying, honestly. Everyone was covered. I thought, I'm dead, you know. And 200 bodies, just all white covers over them, like you've seen. So, yeah, I mean, it was very hard. For the first 12 months, I've got to say, it was very, very hard to adapt to everything, really.
I wanted to ask about the bug situation.
Oh.
What was that like?
Well, the first place I went in, you know, Shantaram book, I read it as well. It's over 1,000 pages. I read loads of books.
Masterpiece.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So basically, he was in my prison. He was in Arthur Road.
Nice.
So where he says in it, he's burning the bed bugs in the wall. That's what we had to do.
What, with lighters or something? Or
Light
fires?
newspaper,
Yeah.
burn a fire, because all the bed bugs will go in the paint, and then they come out the night and bite you and stuff. And
How big are the bed bugs over there? Because over here they're quite.
Oh no, you
minute.
can see them. They're like ladybird sort of type. They're quite big.
And do they bite?
Yeah, they give you like little lumps and stuff. The worst things was the tiny ants, the red ants. So basically, I used to put your washing on a line. Now I made the fatal error a few times where I've put my boxer shorts on, not shook them out, and then these little red ants are biting, biting me balls and stuff. Oh my god! So, but yeah, many times I've had them in my food because I used to sort of in my third jail after conviction. I used to have these pots. I used to get sort of protein powder in them and stuff. So once it was empty, I put sugar in one or like fasan, it was called, sort of a savoury snack type thing. And if you didn't put newspaper in on the top, there's no room for them to get in, but they got in. And then you shake it on your food and mix it up. You get rice and dal every day. Mix it up and I'd be eating away and then I'd see one floating. And I'd be like, fucking hell, I'm just going to eat it, you know.
Got hungry.
There's protein in there as well, so you didn't get no protein. I just eat them. You get big black ants, but they was harmless. But you just feel them on you, you know. But the worst thing, this is absolute worst. It was it used to be on a Sunday as well, because Sundays we'd be locked in for most of the day, basically. We'd be back in, say, for 1:30, hottest time of the day. Especially sort of when it's sort of April, May. I've got no fan in this cell. I've got nothing in this cell. And you're dripping. You'd sit there, you'd just be sweating, just dripping. And the flies. So I'd be lay there. I'd throw my sheet on, even though it was so hot. And you know, after a while, 5 minutes, you think, I'll just get my toe out. Within 10 seconds, bzz, it's on it. I put my nose out, bzz, the flies are on it. I used to actually felt sorry at that point for sort of these Somalian kids and stuff. And you know, at the end, you just give up because they're relentless. They're on you, and you just think, you just give up with it, basically. And
that was our dilemma with the cockroaches. You can have the sheet on you, but it traps the heat.
Yeah.
And then you get so hot you throw it off, and then the cockroaches are on you, and you got to get to sleep. So you just know they're going to be on you in the night.
What smart creatures they are, eh?
Did you have some stories of them?
Oh yeah, they're proper smart. Them, they're really and they're fast, aren't they?
Yes,
they are. They're fast.
What did yours look like?
Oh, they were huge.
Big ones.
They were huge.
Yeah.
I mean, the cats didn't touch the rats. The rats were massive.
The rats were bigger
The
than the
rats
cats.
were absolutely massive. Honest to God, they didn't even bother them, because you'd have the jail cats, you know, and everything else, but no, they just used to leave them because it was as big as them. Honestly.
Did anyone try and catch any of the animals?
Oh, but tell you what we did used to do for entertainment. Bit of a sick story maybe, but you sort of have your sweeping brush sort of for your cell, and it's like, you know, twigs all banded up. So you have a kundiwala in every area. A kundiwala basically is a house cleaner. They do all the cleaning the toilets and everything. So some days they'd flush the sewers out, and you sort of have one metal sort of thing there, and a couple of 100 yards over there would be another. So they'd take them off, throw buckets of water down, and then the rats used to jump out the other end, and we'd play cricket. 6! Oh, with these rats.
So like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, similar, yeah. But they'd be out and they'd be getting knocked over different areas. Depends how far you went, whether you got a 6 with them and stuff. But yeah, to pass the time, you know what I think.
You just mentioned is it a kundiwala?
Kundiwala, yeah.
Yeah, walla. How does one get the position of becoming a toilet cleaner?
The poorest of the poor get it, and they get remission for it, and they get good remission. They get sort of 30% off.
Do they?
The case, yeah. Something like that. So it's worth it to them. Plus they get a little wage, so they can buy their own soap and toothpaste. So every jail, basically, when you're in a big area, any barrack type system, it's called a handi. A handi is like a group, if you like. So when I first went in, I joined a handi. Now there's a French guy, there was an Indian guy, and there was a guy from the Philippines, and he was our help, if you like, because he had no money. So, but I'm still in my sort of, I want to wash my own plate, but the system is if you've got money, you shouldn't do any work yourself. You know, even till the last day I was washing my own clothes, and they'd be coming up to me going, Why? So why are you doing, because God gave me 2 hands, I'll do it myself. Sort of thing, if they don't want toothpaste, I'll give it them for now, sort of thing. But the system is Indian maids have a maid. There's so many different classes, sort of from higher to low. There's sort of so much diverse, yeah. If you're born as a certain surname, you will go no higher in life. You will stay in the fields of a farm because your surname is such a thing.
So like in the UK, ours originated from our job position, so kind of similar, but it hasn't progressed in India.
Yeah, I mean, basically you won't get that opportunity because of your surname. The blacker you are, the less chance you've got to work. They're so racist. Honestly, because they know the blacker you are, you're in a field all day. You're doing sort of the low-end jobs.
Is the lowest class called the untouchables, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Untouchables.
And do you have untouchables in the prison system as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, some of these people, India's absolutely huge. She's 10 times as big as Britain, and there was people sort of from villages that have no electricity, running water, nothing. And I'd be sat there, and next minute, I feel like this on me. I'm like, well, fucking, don't touch me. They'd never seen tattoos, and they're like thinking it's pen. They'd be like on my arm, and they'd be going like this. I'm like, fuck off. What are you doing? And people are going, no, they're just curious. And they'd be sat staring at me. Staring. And I used to think at that time I'd hate to be a celebrity, known by everyone. Because it's like everyone's looking at you and, you're like, they've not seen a white person before. That's an Eminem song, I think. But they've not seen a white person. So to them, it's like, and they just like, but it's quite intimidating, And then they'd be like, you look how fucking, and then, but it's not, they're just curious. And then they'd be like, my friends come over in the January, said, obviously a long flight, they've got on the beach, in Mumbai now. No one sunbathes in Mumbai, but they've took the tops off. He said, we've crashed out for a couple of hours. He said, I've woke up. He said, about 15 of them are fucking staring at us. I jumped so loud. What are you doing? But they're just curious, they're thinking, who's this? Why are they doing that? They don't understand, like.
And would you say that gave you a bit of automatic respect in prison because you were the unknown? Well,
as a British citizen, it gave me a bit of respect to a lot of people, but it also worked the other way as well. Obviously, the British Raj, for any historians, we ruled India for 200 years. But we done a lot of good for the country, We built the road infrastructure, the railways. We done a lot of different things for India, good things, but we also robbed them blind as well. So they'd always say to me, oh, Tumhara Rani Chor. It was like, your queen's a thief. Yeah. Stole the Kohinoor diamond and stuff. And so, some of them having banter, some of them didn't like it. Some of them used to touch my skin and wipe it on them. It's like, I want to be your colour. Like I say, it's like every Bollywood star you will look at are like our colour.
They're quite
white.
pale,
They're very, very pale. So I think as a country, it is so racist as a country. And even the guards used to come around. I mean, I was locked up with a lot of, there were Somalian pirates. There was the habitual, you always get Africans in every country while you're in jail. You've got you've got the cheaters from Nigeria and stuff, but they're all streetwise, they're all smart, They've had hard lives and they know how to survive. So, yeah, they come round in the morning, the guards, and be going, Cello, call them basically. Oh. Hey, Kale, and all this, they'd be saying it. You know what I mean? And it's so bad. You know what I mean? So their respect for them was already sort of low because of the colour of the skin. Mm. So it was very wrong, but,
All right, so Baz, you've got us gripped with these insane conditions and the high-profile prisoners. I'm sure the viewers are wondering at this point in time, how the hell did you land yourself in this situation?
Right, well, the story sort of goes back to 2006. I went to Goa a lot, sort of at least once a year. Loved the place, nice and cheap, and it's sort of, hidden paradise like. So I loved to go to Goa. 2006, myself and my mum decided to buy an apartment out there. It was off plan, so it's sort of so much money every few months and whatever else. So, like I said, we bought this apartment off plan. I went over in 2006 with a so-called friend, an ex-friend, and basically he had his girlfriend there, I had mine there. We'd gone on a place called Anjuna Market. It's like a hippie market, if you like. I bought sort of Garnier creams, incense sticks, a lot of naff really, T-shirts, whatever else. And the year before, I actually took home a couple of ornaments, a Buddha, like a Buddha's head, and a wooden elephant. I got to the airport, my case was over. They charged me £100 to get them, to bring them home. So the so-called friend was there and he's saying, well, why don't you post them? I said, well, where's the post office? I didn't even know where it was. I've been to go that many times, but I didn't know where it was. So he said, oh, yeah, it'd be cheaper. Give us your passport. I'll go and get a copy done, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he's posted the goods home. We come home. He's like, have you got your stuff? I'm like, no. Well, what's gone on? He said, oh, I put a few strips of sleepers in. I said, well, that's probably why they've not landed. Then I found out a few sort of down the line over the next couple of weeks, he was going around accusing me of getting these sleeping tablets and selling them on. Now, I didn't know the quantity at this point. Now, I'd actually took a few home. You can buy them in the chemist, Viagra's and diazepam for sleeping, behind the counter sort of thing. So I'd actually took them home in my case many times before. So I knew a friend on the beach and stuff, and he's saying, yeah, it's best to do it that way. So I've given him all my details. You do a declaration form, so you put where you're staying, for example. And I was staying in a Osborne Hotel at the time. Now, I don't know, ironically enough, 3 months after I went back to the Osborne Hotel in March 2007, and they gave me a letter from reception. I was like, open the letter, and it said, you've misdeclared these goods. We've kept them in Mumbai. It's Mumbai Customs, basically. They contain diazepam, but there's only one box. It's saying they contain diazepam. If you want them, basically, come to Mumbai, but it's 2.5 hour flight or 12-hour drive, and I'm not interested in these goods that I'd bought. It was only like 60 quid or something I'd spent. So I just ripped it up and thought nothing of it. But I could actually get them if he had a medicinal license, proof of purchase. I could actually get them and they would be all right to export. I just thought nothing of it. It wasn't heroin, it wasn't cocaine, it wasn't a narcotic. And I went back to the country a few times. Unbeknownst to me, they had a lookout circular, an LOC, in all the Indian airports, like I was a terrorist or something. I'd been again, like I say, over the following couple of years with different girlfriends. So in immigration, it's not sort of, it's a human error. They've not noticed this sort of red alert for me. 2009, November, 21st of November 2009, I've gone on my own. The apartment had been finished. I was going basically to do the paperwork, buy some furniture, etc. Gone over for a week on my own. Walked through immigration. He was looked at the thing, looked at me, looked at the screen again. He's like, you wait there. Still didn't think anything of it. That was about 7:30 in the morning. Now, Mumbai Customs flew in then at 2 p.m. Took me then to Mumbai, and I was sort of questioned till 5 in the morning then. There was one box. Now, when he's telling me the quantity in the first box, it was like 20,000 odd. I thought, all this, that's in one box. There was three. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, it's going to be a lot. So I was getting him on side. There was only one that spoke English, 5 others with him, couldn't speak a word. They actually put me in a hotel. Yeah. He said, right, what I'll do, I'm going to put you in this hotel. You pay for it for 2 nights. You're not staying there. I'm going to put you in a friend's house and lock you in there till Monday. Now, unbeknownst to me at the time, he was doing me a big favour because you have to be produced within a court of law within 24 hours. Now, I would have got charges dropped at some point if that happened. It was all being pally. I didn't know whether to offer money because I thought that's what I should have done.
Hope you're enjoying the podcast. Here's a word from our sponsor, Rocket Money. Many of our viewers have saved thousands using Rocket Money to save the money off subscriptions they didn't even know about. Rocket Money cancels subscriptions for people that are tricky and time-consuming. Rocket Money also alerts you to subscriptions that can save you money. Try it free for 30 days, just enough time to try it, and then completely forget about it. In fact, over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. You could be wasting money and not even realizing it. Rocket Money helps you find those forgotten subscriptions so you can stop paying for ones you don't use. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Sean, SHAUN. That's rocketmoney.com/Sean, rocketmoney.com/Sean. Thank you for supporting our sponsor, Rocket Money. Enjoy the podcast.
I didn't know whether to offer money because I thought that's what I should have done. You know, gets back to the building, going through this pile of paperwork. Next minute he's gone, "You liar." I'm like, why? His second box different and all that, and then everything changed, basically. I didn't get beat up, which I'm surprised about because I've heard some horror stories after, electrocuting you, gonads and stretching you on. Oh, it's brutal. But
Shantaram had that, didn't it, the violence?
Yeah, well, I spoke to guys in there, and it still goes on. And basically, you're guilty until proven innocent, sort of thing. And it's not the other way around. You don't get a lawyer until you've done your statement. Yeah. So basically, I had to do this statement, and I wrote down sort of what's happened. And then the next morning, I was dragged to a Sunday court. Now, I'd been in contact. They gave me one call, basically. I spoke to my mum, God rest her soul, and I spoke to her, and she got all these lawyers' numbers from Mumbai. We decided on getting someone called Terr0rist Syed, who was a specialist in the drugs sort of cases. So the Sunday morning, like I say, they needed pictures. They took me around this market in handcuffs, and I just felt, it was horrible. Because like I said about the staring, there was just, everybody was like, you know, and it's sort of horrifying. So we goes in this court, they're all sat on the floor, all these, and it's, as we goes up to the court, there's a big, like, flight of stairs. I'm going up to the court, and this guy comes down. He's got a suit on, but it's a bit scruffy suit and a couple of stains here and there. And he's gone, yeah, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I shook his hand. And he's gone, I went, are you Terr0rist Syed? He's gone, yeah, Terr0rist Syed. So going upstairs again. Now, at the hotel, I changed money. I changed like £100, so I had about £100 on me in rupees. Sorry, I had about £60 left in rupees after paying the hotel. So he said, how much money you got? How much money? So I've gone like, and he's gone, right, that'll do that. Shh. He's doing this. Shh. Fucking idiot. So he goes in the court. He sits in the bench in front. He's going around going, it's okay. Shh. My head's all over. Next minute, this tall guy walks in and he goes, Barry? So I went, yeah. He went, I'm Terr0rist Syed. I went, no, you're not. He's Terr0rist Syed. So he went, I'm Terr0rist Syed. I went, no, he's Terr0rist Syed. So he basically said he's a cheat, he's took your money. But what he did do for me, he went and got 2,000 rupees back off him. It was like £20, so I could spend it in the first sort of week or two when I got in the prison for provisions. But this shithead has then got in the police. We've all crammed in this police van thing. Not a van, like a, you know, the box sort of, what's it? Only 4 seats in the back, if that. We're all crammed in, about 6 officers and him. Takes everyone for a meal on my frigging money. You know what I mean? I just thought, wow, unbelievable.
So let me just clarify for the viewers then. My understanding is your so-called mate has took your details. Without your authorisation, he started to ship mass quantities.
Well, I don't know what he'd done with the stuff I bought, but apparently there was no anything I bought was not there. It was all full of diazepam, every box, with a total of 75,100.
Right.
So what was he planning on? To arrive at yours and you to be shocked and be like, where's my stuff?
Yeah, but then he was going to say, after it had found out he was going to get £8,000 for these, so after it he could have said, there's £3,000 for you, and it would have been a sweetener, wouldn't it? And it wouldn't have, nothing would have, you know, been amiss because they wouldn't have been caught. But the fact that they was caught, and the fact that he knew about it after and everything and didn't help. So
what's your lawyer telling you initially that you're facing? When will you be out?
Well, after they said obviously he goes on remand, they were coming back down the stairs. He said, look, it's going to be a massive shock to you when you go in the prison. You know, it's not an Hilton hotel. He said everything's going to be completely alien to you. Stay strong. We'll get you out, but it won't be for at least 60 days. I went, 60 days? 60 days? I couldn't believe it. Honestly. He's like, that's how long it takes for the charge sheet to come through. But be okay, I'll inform your family, this, that, and the other. And
tell us about that, phoning your family.
Well, you don't actually get a call. When you go to court, which is very frequent, especially at the beginning, you don't get guards. There's not enough guards. It's only for the ones that cases are running, if you like, where witnesses are coming. If you're lucky, you might go. So for the first sort of 8-10 months, you don't even get out the building, or once or twice you might. Depending on the judge, they'll give you a call or not. So, you know, they'll take you to the phone box or wherever, or you get your friend's mobile or whatever else you can do. But it's very rare that they'd allow that. At first, I didn't speak to my family for, I think it was about 4 weeks. I actually went to court then, and the guard gave me a call. But obviously it was heartbreaking, you know, to speak to my mum, and I was terrified, I'll be honest with you. You know, it's just everything's so alien. You know, you don't understand the language or anything, and it's all sort of, it's like you're living in a dream sort of thing.
Do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
To my mum.
Sounds like you guys are really
It's going to be all right, and then I break down and cry and go, Mum, I'll be all right, you know, and don't worry, just everything will be fine. And I was a state, to be honest. My head was all over, you know. But I still believed as a British, you know, citizen that we've got power and they'll do something for us and I won't be here, and that's not the case. That is not the case.
What about your other family members? You had a son, didn't you? So you got a son.
Yeah, my son was 18 at the time, so it was very hard, sort of, for him, you know, because we are very close and things, and he sort of had to take the role on that I always had, like sort of head of the family, where I'd make sure everyone was okay, and they'd all sort of come to me, and all of a sudden he had a lot to take on his shoulders. His girlfriend was pregnant with my first grandson. He was born in March, so he had a hard time basically because he lost his cousin as well. His cousin got stabbed and killed. So yeah, it was quite a bad time, but I'm very proud of him. He's stepped up to the mark. So.
What about your girlfriend?
Like I say, the girl I was with at the time, we'd previously been together sort of in our early 20s for 5 years. We'd sort of rekindled. It was together about 3 months before I went away, and ironically she said a couple of weeks before I went, my worst nightmare would be for you to go to jail, sort of thing, and I'd be like, it's my worst nightmare.
She manifested it.
Well, I'm thinking of the English jail was my worst nightmare, you see, yeah. But she did wait for me for nearly 3 years or something like that, and obviously it gets to a point where when I got the 20 years, you know, 20-year sentence, she's not going to stay. I didn't want her to stay about either, so.
Mm. You mentioned earlier your son, you had him quite young at 17,
yes,
didn't you?
yeah.
What was life like before, obviously, the arrest? What were you doing for work?
I was working for a glass company as a glass technician, basically doing this, you know, your frames and things like that, all interior glass, glass doors, glass. So it was a good job, basically. Yeah, I was enjoying life and just getting on with it. I was I was actually a granddad when I was in the jail, but 36-year-old granddad, so, you know, he's 13 now, he's as big as me, I'm not that tall, but it's great when he's going, granddad, and people are looking, going, granddad, are you? I'm like, yeah, you know, his dad, no, he's granddad. So it's nice, because like I say, my son was only 19 when his first son was born as well, so.
Young granddad.
Yeah.
So
But that was hard, obviously, not being there for the birth and stuff.
Did you have criminal history before you got arrested?
Oh, yeah, I've been arrested a few times for petty fighting and just sort of, you know, car offences and stuff like that. Nothing major.
Yeah.
Caught with cannabis when I was young a couple of times, but nothing sort of major.
So you're just a regular family man from Manchester?
Oh, yeah.
who ends up with this massive sentence in India for something you've not even done. This
so
is
bizarre.
crazy.
Sometimes I couldn't get my own head around it. Like, what am I doing here? Why? Why should it be me? Sort of thing. Why am I being punished? I'm not such a bad person, you know.
So your lawyer then says, brace yourself. This isn't the Hilton. What happens next?
Basically, I went in the jail and I walked in, and it was a Sunday, like I say, Sunday evening, so it was all locked down anyway. But I seen that sort of these double structure barracks dotted about everywhere, like a concrete jungle. We went in, it's called after barracks. So basically anyone that arrives after they've locked down after court will still go there. Any new arrivals sort of thing will go in there until you're allocated murder barrack or drugs barrack or whatever. So the first night, the first sort of evening, I'm sat down, there's a Nigerian kid in there, and I sort of clung with him. And it was like, there's only about 12 of us in there. It's like obviously a massive barrack. It's dead echoing, dead eerie sort of feel to it. It's cracked everywhere. It's dirty. It's just horrible. So we're all sat, she says it's food time. So we're all sat cross, well, I wasn't cross-legged. I couldn't cross them at that point. Like eating it at the side. And they pass these tin plates down. Then they pass these rotis that were sort of that big, you know, like cardboard. And then they pass sort of a bowl of dal, which is just dirty water. There's no lentil in it or nothing like that. You might get a bit of an onion if you're lucky. And then this clump of rice, third class rice, you can stick you know, posters on the wall with it. So basically I just watched what them when in Rome do at Rome. And so I just watched them, and it was a case of they broke the rice down, they mixed it, they eat with their hands. They said they get better flavour from it. And it is actually easier to eat rice and sort of water with on, but I just basically watched them. You don't get knives and forks anyway, you know. So I basically watched them. I put it on the roti, at the lay down on, sort of have a big mat where everyone's got to lay together, and that's horrible. You know, you got some guy next to you, he's kicking you in the night, but like, you know, frustrating. But it was lay there. Next minute I've heard like this cat sound, and there's cats coming with all the kittens. So I couldn't sleep, then I'm sleeping again. Next minute, things what, and then there's like a big, you know, trail of these big black ants all marching in. And I just thought, where am I?
How hard was it to sleep?
Oh, it was hard. I mean, the first, like I said, the first few weeks, I had that sort of hope that I'd be getting out soon. And like, obviously 60 days, but then that's speaking to the prisoners, and they're like, 4.5 years they've been in, and my case is still, and I'm like, what? Wow. I was like, I take my hat off to you, mate. Wow, you're amazing to do that. You know, I could never sort of envisage me doing that sort of time. Not even a year, you know. So, yeah, like I say, then it come to 90 days, 60 days rather, they extended it to 90.
Still in the barracks?
I'm still in the barracks for 6 months. About 4 months I was in the barracks, like I said, and then I moved to another area and then put into the under barrack in the May 2010.
So what's going on with your case then? 'Cause at 60 days you think you're getting out?
Nothing's happening. Basically what they're saying is they're gathering evidence and everything else. Now in that period they found a third box, which was detrimental as well, because in India they have a commercial quantity. So for example, heroin's 250 gram or 100 grams. Now if you have like charas, which is, you're allowed up to sort of 1 kg. Anything below 1 kg, you get a maximum of 10 years. Anything above, you get a minimum of 10. Same case with mine, it was 500 gram. Now 7,510 sleeping tablets was 751 grams in weight, which was 251 over the commercial. So it was a minimum of 10 years. Yeah.
How did you feel when you found that out?
Still confident I was getting out.
Was you?
Because everyone, as the book says, that's why I've called it No Tension.
Yeah.
Everyone would be saying, no tension, Baba. Jujaya, like saying, you'll go. It's diazepam only. You'll get off easy. Men, I do, like say 1 month, 2 months, you go in, jamming. Like jamming's like bail. You go in. So I was also on the belief as well that it's only diazepam. They've not got no CCTV of me going in the place. They've not got, me in possession. They've got nothing. They've just got my paperwork. That's all they've got.
Because it's not exactly an A-class drug. And I don't know. Did you have the impression, as I always had this in my mind, that if I got arrested abroad, you could run to the embassy?
Well, yeah. I'm thinking the embassy will get me out, no problem. Now, our embassy are better than, say, the African embassy, because they'll turn up, but they don't do anything. At the end of the day, who am I? Why would they risk bilateral agreements? Now, if I'm some bigwig, some famous guy and something, maybe they'll try and do something for me. But obviously, I'm a nobody, so...
So your family at this point, their spirits are buoyed because they think you're getting out as well. Have any of them come to visit you at all in the first month?
Yeah, my mum and my son come over in the January. We worked it out where it'd be my date. I speak Hindi sometimes when I'm talking. It'd be my date sort of in this January 2010. I've been in there sort of 6-7 weeks. They come over. Unfortunately, I got no guards. So we had to have a mullicat, it's called. And it's basically a screen, like call it a jolly screen, metal grill, and it's sort of from here to yourself, or maybe a bit further back, and you'd be shouting, but there'd also be another 10 people shouting to their family.
What?
So you couldn't hear.
Hold on, slow this down. Visitation.
Yeah.
There's a metal screen between you and the visitors.
Yeah, and a gap.
And everyone's just randomly shouting at everyone.
Yes.
You're not like in cubicles with your family.
No.
On the opposite side.
No, it's just a run of 6 things. A run of 6 on that side. Yeah, shouting over each other.
And how far's the gap between you and your
About
family?
a couple of metres.
That's.
So how easy was it to communicate if everyone's just shouting at everyone?
You just had to scream, really, and do sign language.
You can't even hug your mum?
It was hard, no. That was the hardest bit. I couldn't give him a hug. That was the hardest bit, Some things are like, I mean, there was a lot of times where I thought I was getting out on bail. I thought I was going to try and escape at one point. There's a lot of different times where... So all these things give me that light at the end of the tunnel as well.
Let's go over those things slowly. So what was the point then when you thought, hold on a minute, something's not quite right with me getting out in the early phase?
Well, like I said, because you're under trial.
Yeah.
You're open.
Remand. That means remand.
It's a remand, sorry, yeah.
Do you have to go court every month?
Every 2 weeks you're supposed to go to court.
Every 2 weeks you have to go court.
You get a date. They call it Terr0rist they say, because you get a date and then you go to the court and they give you another date and you go again, they'll give you another 2 weeks. Nothing happens with your case.
Yeah.
The judges are so lazy. They get there at 11 o'clock and they're leaving at 4. And then having an hour dinner in between, and you think, oh, them cases you've got piled up. The Chief Justice of India went on the telly crying because of the millions of cases backlogged. They said, we won't get through them in 10 years. And all they're doing is more cases coming on. So basically, lost my train of thought.
So what I asked you was, in those early months, the hope is up. But when was the crossover where you thought, this isn't quite right, I'm in the deeper shit than I thought?
When they produce sort of the charge sheet, that's when you get it after 180 days. You can get access to it. And then I was looking, everyone peruses the charge sheet, see if they become their own lawyer, if you like, see if there's any loopholes they can find. So I got my charge sheet and I'd go through it with sort of educated people, and they'd be like, there's nothing on you, you're going to go. It's just a case of getting your trial finished. So I didn't expect to be waiting 3 years, 8 months for all my witnesses. They gathered 13 witnesses.
From where?
One from the post office. Like, they call them punch witnesses. So when they get the goods, you have to, have a gazetted officer to sign it off. And basically that can be a loophole. If you're not eligible to do that sort of, as that job, then that's a loophole. They planted it on you, things like that. So they have 5 punch witnesses. Yeah, I opened it, I resealed it. That's Exhibit A2 and all the rest of it. And the rest were just made up of the hotel person and to prove that was in the hotel. Of course, was in the hotel, but it's just long delays. And then near the end of it, the prosecution wanted to call back the witness again from Goa. Now, the witness from Goa, they're obviously not going to come for a few weeks, and then they don't come. And so a lot of the times you go, there'd be no prosecutor there. Your lawyer won't be there, or the judge won't be there, or you won't get guards to go. So there'd always be some sort of problem. But every 2 weeks, you'd have that hope of, I'm going out, you get your shirt on and get ready like a normal person for a change, And then you get let down by guards not coming, or you get let down when you go to court and they're like straight back to the prison.
So was it before the sentence that you started coming up with escape plans?
No, it was after the sentence.
Okay.
What else happened in the first year?
Like I say, I got moved into the underbarrack after sort of 6 months. And I was a lot settled in there because they weren't as many people. They was all educated. Myself and Santos would do play Ludo, we'd do crosswords, and he was better English than me, you know, he's a very educated man.
There's a lot of different religious services.
I mean, you've got the three factions mainly. It's mainly Hindu. Obviously it's a Hindustan state. You've got maybe 25% are Muslim, and you've probably got 5% Christian within there. Like I said, that's a lot of the African people. You still get Christian Indians, if you like, as well. But you find they're more from the north, Himalayas side and things. And I think that's because, again, the Raj, all the officers, the British officers used to stay there, and they sort of follow on our values and things like that, you see. So,
Did you have a foreign nationals clique?
Well, yeah. I mean, all the Africans stick together. Then, again, it was like Muslims that all stick together. It's a very, very powerful religion where they're all sort of together, and they look after each other. Mustafa Dosa, the big guy, on their religious festivals, the Ramadan and things, he used to buy all the fruit every day for him to break the fast. He used to buy them all new shamar kameez, they called, like the suits they wear and that. They used to provide everything for him. So,
what about violence in the first year? Did you see any?
Oh, every day you see violence, but it was funny because the first sort of few months, like I say, I was in the barrack, and in the morning, everyone would run to the gate. You try and get in the line for your water. If you had a bit of money, you had a bucket, So I didn't at this point, but I'd borrow a bucket off someone. All the sort of untouchables and all the sort of poorer people, they'd be in the other section, and that used to trickle out. Ours used to pour a bit faster, that used to trickle out. So basically you had these metal pots for your food. They'd use them, fill it up, shower with them. But there'd be 20 hands in there, and they'd all be whacking each other with these metal pots. Next minute, bam! 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 20 each other with these. That was funny. Yeah. The first few weeks it was funny. It was amusement every day. And then after a couple of weeks, I got fed up. I thought, every morning, this. Do you know what I mean? They're not really fighting people. They'd slap. A lot of them would slap. Give them a slap. Well, that's more humiliating. I think I'd rather you whack me, But I didn't see violence, but I know there was a lot different stuff went on as well.
What did you see any guard brutality, or were aware of it?
Oh yeah.
In the first year.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you stepped out of line, they'd all get you out there, and it's like latte, they call it. It's like a bamboo stick, and they just beat you. You heard them screaming in the morning. Screaming before they open up because they'd done something the day before. They found drugs on them or whatever, and they found a phone. Was
there a lot of drugs in there?
Different times it was. It depends on how strict it was at the time. So, for example, one time, Santos and Mustafa Dosa was getting close and stuff, and one of their enemies, if you like, was based in a Tanna jail, another 15 miles away in Mumbai. And I'm just trying to think of his name, but he was based there. One of Santos's old shooters got a gun in there and gone to shoot him. So it was locked down for us. They're all saying Santos has set it up for him in there. And so then things like he had a phone in there. So it was like tricky times and, sort of. So certain times was a bit more easy. Something happened, went a lot more strict. So
first year is your adjustment year. What happens in the second year?
Have you been sentenced yet? Sorry.
No, 3.5 years.
Yeah.
3.5 years before sentencing?
Yeah. 3 years, 8 months it was, yeah.
Go do the second year first before.
Second year, like I say, it was just sort of, I was in the underbarrack. That was sort of 2011 time. At the end of that year, Santos come in. Life started getting easier. Now, I mentioned a Filipino guy that used to be in our hander. Now he's called Ray. He was a mule basically, sending heroin for the bigger guys. 3.5 kilo heroin it was, I think. And he got acquitted after 3.5 years, so he'd done well. But like I say, they wasn't happy, the prosecution. They wanted to go to High Court, so he had to stay in the country, wouldn't give him his passport back, etc. Now he needed money, so my family arranged to give him like £50 a week, or every couple of weeks. He was sending my letters home then, because we were getting lost, you know, a lot of people were writing, so I'd sort of write 10, 15 letters. Because I had my status now with Santos, I could take things out. I used to go to the court, we had a phone, I used to have a knee pad. So this knee pad, I'd stick the batteries in, go to the court with the empty ones, he'd give me 3 new ones. You pay the guard, then go in the toilet, put them back in. So I used to bring them, I used to bring money. I used to come back in the jail, and they'd be like, oh, bye, like giving me respect, the guards and that, give me a tap down, yeah, go, just. Next minute, all the black guys were like squatting and stuff. They're going, why is he getting away with it? And they had to squat and go naked and all sorts. So it was good in that sense. The guards round the actual court area, they was dead open. They was like dead free with me. Oh, they used to say, you're Santos Anna's good mate, aren't you, from England, from foreign and all this. And you stay, no problem. So I'd stay till 4 or 5 o'clock, get dinner, walk about the court, you know. So it was massive. It was only a small thing, but it was massive. So Ray basically was working for us then. He'd come in the morning, he'd bring a load of eggs. They had to be broken, like in a bag. And then Santos should have a couple of workers. They have a metal plate, so you basically make the food warm, get a little fire going underneath like camping. You'd have fried eggs, scrambled egg. It was massive. It was absolutely, I mean, he wants to eat rice for breakfast and you've got eggs,
Yeah.
you know. So for the next sort of, it was a lot easier. 2012 up until sort of mid-2013, it wasn't easy, but it was a lot easier. I had the free run of the jail. The guards were letting me go out. I remember walking into the murder barrack and I was a bit sort of apprehensive. Santos was going, I want you to go and meet this guy, Vijay Palande, one of me shooters. And I've read about him in the papers, and he's a bit of a like multi-murderer, you know. And I thought, I don't want to go meet this guy really. But I'll tell you what, I got in there, and it was all great. It was all absolutely sound. And again, because of him, I think, straight away they thought, he's accepted me, we'll accept him. All the guards love me and everything, and you know, so it was easier life, let's say.
Tell us about how you came to purchase the Nokia and the drama that unfolded with the guy you've got the Nokia off.
I got the what off, sorry?
Phone.
Nokia.
The phone, the
Yeah,
Nokia phone. That was the one in, that was when I was sentenced actually. And I'd gone to a place called Collarpore. And I actually had my own cell in Collarpore. And they say it's a punishment in the no cell because it's got no fan and everything else, no music or telly or anything. But obviously for me, it was ideal to be on my own away from all these lot. And like I say, you have the same sort of structure again. The cell was probably 6 foot by 10 foot. You wall with your hole in the floor. But what I'd done was I put towels in front. They didn't like it because you could be doing stuff, but I'd have towels there. And so there was a guy who was supposed to bring me the phone in. He was using one. Now, obviously, everyone's convicted in this jail, so no one goes to court. So you've got to rely on the guards to bring anything in for you. And this guy used to jog every morning. Yeah, the youngish guy, and I used to have a jog with him and stuff. And he said, let me use your cell, and then I'll give it you on a Sunday. I'd have it on a Sunday because you'd be locked in all day. There'd be less chance of getting caught, less chance of getting a check it on a Monday morning as well. So, you know, to hide it and stuff. So I used to get it sort of on a Sunday. And I let him use my cell. I'd keep an eye out like that. So this day he's gone to court on the Saturday. I've given him 60 quid. I've sent £60 via Ray to his friend's account. He's going to bring me this money in and sort a phone out, whatever else. The guy's gone to court anyway. The Bundy time, locking starts and whatnot. And I was going, wonder where he is, He's only got a few of his mates, gone to the court, threw chili powder in the guard's eyes and gone. And that was one thing I'd lost. But yeah, it was hard work. I mean, the thing is with them as well, they're all midnights. They're all like, they call them cabra, which is an informer. You could actually give an Indian your phone, they'll use it and then go, tell the guard, oh yeah, there's a phone. You know, they're so like envious and stuff, and you've got to be really, really careful.
But I thought in prison, like grasses or snitches.
Oh no, the hailed there. Honestly, it's it's weird, strange.
Because they've got sex offenders in the general population as well. So the first phone you got then, you asked for a phone that had internet and everything.
Yeah.
What did you end up getting?
A Nokia, little plastic Nokia thing without, just your basic.
One with snake on.
Yeah, yeah. One of them ones. But obviously,
how did you charge it? I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Here's a word from our sponsor, Manscaped. Cannonballs. This summer, it's not about the size of those cannonballs.
Thank God, as I can barely see them.
Well, they were big enough to do the job, weren't they, Jen? We kicked. It's about making a splash with our friends at Manscaped.
Prep for barbecue season by making sure your grill master has the hottest dog seen this summer.
When you're at the cookout, let the meat speak for itself with Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0.
It's time to get ready and not sweaty.
The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to guarantee you'll have the most mouth-watering treat at the party. They have built the ultimate bundle for your summer grooming. So, get 20% off and free shipping with the code SHAUN20, SHAUN20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code SHAUN20. Manscaped, the perfect way to get your patties sizzling hot this summer. Hoo-ha! Thanks for supporting our sponsor. Back to the podcast. How did you charge it?
Right, well, the first one I got was in at Collaport. I got him with a guy that worked he was an actual doctor, and he worked in the pharmacy area called a Dawakana to give out tablets and things, for any injuries. And they had a separate place at the back of there. They had the key for it. So basically, it had a charger. It brought a charger with it. It had no plug. You had to get the wires, wire it up to the two wires, and then stick it in that way. Other ways to do it is sort of off the TV and things like that. At one time, I was getting like the battery was only £5 each, Chinese ones. I'd get 5 of them, use and throw, sort of thing. So depending where you was and certain times, there's always a way, but you don't really want to entrust someone with charging it because then they know.
You mentioned a TV then. Did you have a TV?
Well, the barracks had a TV. It'd be a 19-inch TV, black and white normally, and you'd have one channel. So there's nothing to fight about. I want this channel or this. You'd have one channel. So.
Who was the first person you called on your phone when you first got it?
It would have been my mum, for sure. I didn't really speak much because, obviously, the gate's sort of there. My gate's here. It's all open, if you like. It's so hot. You're not sort of enclosed anywhere, so you're straight out into the air. And I'd sort of sit there, I'd have a newspaper and a text. I'd have it down here and I'd just keep. And then they'd turn up and go, oh, yeah, and I'd have a chat to them and that. And then they'd go on and then back again, sort of thing. You can't see, unless someone's watching for you, you can't see when they're going to turn up. And they're there all of a sudden, and everyone wants to talk to me. They want to learn English and all that, and they want to know about England, and sex is free, and it's not free, mate. You've got to take them for a meal or take pictures or something. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's open because it's such a taboo in India, even though they made the Kama Sutra, And that was another story I can lead to where my friend, when I had it all boxed off in there with Santosh, I was getting my mail in without them checking it. So I started getting pornographic magazines. Oh, honest to God, every day, please, can you buy me today? Like, why do you want to buy it today? There's long locking, is it? They've never seen naked women. So they're like kids, in a toy shop, and madness.
Did you hustle to make a few bucks then?
No, I just give them. They come back with a few pages missing. All the guards would come around like, show us that.
So your mum was proactive, wasn't she, raising support for you?
Oh, totally.
What did she do to raise support for you?
Basically, they done 2 sort of charity nights to raise money to sort of try and pay the lawyers off. Sort of done raffles and things like that.
You said lawyers, plural?
I say lawyers because I changed lawyer.
Right.
At what point did you change lawyer?
When my case wasn't being heard in the High Court. Because basically it took 6 years in the High Court. Exactly, ironically, I was sentenced on the 5th of July 2013 and was acquitted on the 5th of July 2019. So exactly 6 years. So I don't know how that happened anyway, but so yeah.
Your mum was doing charity?
Yeah, so she done these sort of fundraisers. She got in contact with the local MPs. She got sent letters to the Home Secretary. She done everything she could, basically. She's a warrior. She was a warrior, you know. God bless her soul. But yeah, without my mum, it would have been a lot harder, I tell you. Without all my family, really, and friends, you know.
And how often was she able to visit?
She come over maybe 6 times in the sort of period I was there. When I was sentenced, she come over, but I actually paid the guards to go to the hospital every day. And because I was such a big figure then by that point and had a lot of power, we paid the guards. I was out all day. I got like 3 days out the hospital. My mum was horrified. Look at that, pushing that dead person on the road. Like, oh, I'm done. This is India, mum, you know.
Can you tell us then the build up to the sentencing?
Yeah, like I say, I was in for 3 years, 8 months till the actual, all the witnesses were done and everything else. We've got the odd delay and whatnot. Obviously, along the way, we was all like, yeah, a few more weeks, and was getting told this. And like I say, India's so slow. It lasted 3 years, 8 months. That day, I was going to the court. My lawyer was confident. He'd actually always say, just pray. You don't know. Now, it was I was a bit worried at the time because NDPS convictions was only 8%. Now, everyone used to get off with the drugs cases, mainly because they'd already served most of the time or for whatever reason. And especially sort of something like a psychotropic, like my own, you know, like a tablet. They'd normally just walk. But the Chief Justice of India had put in place, they wanted 25% conviction rate. Only 2 or 3 months before, everyone was getting convicted in the NDPS courts because obviously they wanted that number up. Whether it was something to do with that, I'm not sure. There was other reasons behind it, what I think as well. I don't think the judge... I mean, how can one person judge your fate? You know, he could be biased. You know, he could be biased about the British being there or whatever. He might not like white people or what, for whatever reason.
Didn't you hear him say Raj something?
Yeah, so, yeah, I was just going to get to that, actually. So, in the court one day, and obviously I picked up quite a bit of Hindi by this point, but he speak very fast, and you don't obviously get the odd word, and he was talking about the British Raj one day. What relevance it had, I don't know. But it looked like he was saying, well, look at him, you know, he's British sort of thing. Another occasion, my lawyer and the prosecutor, this old guy, he was a bastard. Everyone hated him. He had like Gupta, he was called. Everyone's like, who's your prosecutor? Go Gupta. He hated people with a vengeance. He wanted convictions. But basically, a couple of times in the court, the judge would be looking down, talking and that, and my lawyer would flip this guy's ear, then he'd pull his coat tail off his suit, and I'm like, you're playing with my life? You think this is a fucking game? You're doing this in the court? You know, it was like crazy. So like I said, leading up to it, I wasn't confident that I was going to get off, but I really didn't expect to get convicted. I just didn't. And we'd gone in the court, and he's looked up, and he's gone, where's your lawyer? And I said, I don't know, Your Honour. And he said, well, go and find him. So the guards come out with me, gone to the next courtroom down. He's sat, Tariq. He's gone, right. They're running court to court. There's only sort of so many lawyers. Oh, it's crazy. They don't care about just you. They've got like hundreds of people to see to. So he's come out and he's like, don't worry, all right. So he goes and sits down on the thing, and then everyone stands up and he says, right, I'd like to thank you both for, you know, a speedy trial. I say, 3 years, 8 months speedy. We've had some things along the way and all that, laughs and that, like, oh yeah, it's like a big carnival. So It's only my life, carry on. Yeah, so then basically give me the words of, and I find the convict guilty of exporting diazepam, and I sentence him to 10 years for export, and I didn't hear this at the time, and 10 years for possession to run consecutive, right? So it's gone over my head. I've stood up and I've gone, but I'm innocent, I'm not guilty. So, and he says, sit down. I say, I'm not sitting down, I'm innocent, why are you doing this to me? And Terr0rist's like, it's okay. And I was like, Terr0rist, tell him. He'd been telling him for 3 years, but he's obviously not listened, has he? So my head's all over. It was sort of, it was a bit of a whirl. I goes outside, Ray was there.
Did you have family members in the court?
No, Ray was there though. And I got the phone, and actually, he wouldn't let me have a phone call. This judge wouldn't let me call as well. That's another thing why I didn't sort of get on with him. The previous judge did. The judges changed left, right and centre, as well. It's crazy. So this judge would never allow a phone call, a 5-minute phone call. So I couldn't speak to my family except Santosh had the phone. We used to hide it in the hole in the floor and stuff in the toilet area, plastic. So I knew I could speak to him once I got back. But obviously, India's 5.5, I was in front. I was sort of sentenced at 11, 12. My mum's waiting for an answer, and Ray saying, shall I phone her and tell her? I said, no, I want to do it. But obviously, it's got to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening by the time they took me prints and photos and everything else. And I got in there and I was told, and I just broke down, like, I'm just sentenced to 10 years, but don't worry, there's a way out. Santosh had a lawyer in his pocket, like, it was a bit of a rumman sort of thing. Now, he used to get parole for people. I saying, don't worry, we'll get parole for you and all that, and then you get off out the country. I was sentenced, then 4 or 5 weeks later, we was put in the van and took 12-hour ride down to Kolhapur. But everything changes then. The next day I realised, actually, after the conviction, so I got through the night. The next morning you have to go for check-in. Now they've got this like very coarse, you have to wear a very coarse sort of conviction uniform. Sort of very thick cotton pants and shirt anyway. And I had to put that on. Straight away putting that on, you don't feel like as free, you got shorts and t-shirt and stuff normally. So you don't feel sort of free. And then I went to my mate's barrack. There was a guy in there from London, been in there a few months. He was 30 kg of cocaine in Ferrari engines over at Mumbai. So this Cockney guy and that were good mates. And I went over and he went, I was so sorry, everyone's saying it on the way down and whatnot. And he went, can't believe he's give you 20 years. I went, he's give me 10 years. You'd have gone. He went, no, it's 20. Look at the paper. Got the paper and it's British man gets 20 years. And gets me charge sheet, the conviction copies and stuff. I looked through it and it's 10 years consecutive. Now, there's not concurrent, basically. With an English law, if you do a robbery, you might get 7 years for that, 2 years for breaking it. But they club them all together and you do the 7 years, the maximum. There's no provision in India because they're based on our law as well. So how he could give that, I don't know. But then that prevented me from going from, because we've got a bilateral agreement, but it prevented me then for doing a transfer agreement back to England. That takes up to 18 months, apparently. I could have transferred to England and done 50% of my remaining sentence. So 3 years, 8 months, let's say 5 years. If I got 10, 2.5 in England, out. Because it was 20, I would have been doing 14 years or whatever, half of that. So we decided as a family as well to go to the High Court and fight it. I knew it'd take a couple of years at least. So in the meantime, like I said, this lawyer was got in touch with us. He said, for £1,000, we can sort something out. Now, what we had to do is, it was around September time. I'd been in there sort of beginning of August, sort of a couple of months I'd been in the prison. And they had a library area and they had a big map of India on. And I used to go there more than I could, sort of thing. And I'd planning my route. Now, the best route was to Delhi. from Delhi over to Nepal through Nepal Ganj, pay the guys on the border crossing into Nepal, fly home. Problem is when you get out, you have to do everyday sign at the police station. Now my plan was get a week's bail, go to police station 3-4 days. I need a couple of days in Goa. There's a couple of £100. You sign me in. 24 hours to Delhi on a posh coach where it won't get pulled by the police on the way. And over there, I had it all arranged anyway. It was all set up. Now what we had to do is bring a family member over to India. So my son agreed to come over with my late stepfather. Basically, he stayed there for a month. The first couple of weeks, he had to go to the hospital. Then the lawyer arranges a police report. He arranges something else. So they all get the backhanders. And it goes through. So he's got the paperwork to go into court and say, look, this is my client. He should be out. His son's in hospital. He needs to be with him, whatever else. He wasn't too happy. Kyle, my lad, going in this hospital. You can imagine what these hospitals are like. Oh, my God. So he wasn't too happy, but they'd done it. All went through. And I was waiting. I was obviously dead anxious at the time because I didn't have any sort of connection. I was getting letters, which is taking a longer time now because I had to post them to Ray in Mumbai. Still take 3 or 4 days. He'd scan them and send them via that way, sort of thing. But I wasn't getting sort of what's going on. And then, sorry, I've got sort of blank again then.
This is your escape
in
plan.
The hospital.
Yeah, so he's coming over. Like I say, the first few days he'd done that. They got all the reports. He went to the High Court. The judge said he's a foreigner, he's a high risk. I'm not going to let grant the bail, the temporary bail sort of thing it's called. Same again, he had to go back in the hospital again, get all more reports again through. Then they went back to the judge again, and this High Court judge, a different one, has said, right, I'm going to give him bail for 10 days. But he has 6 officers with him, he has to pay for them, and he's only getting out morning till evening. He's got to go back to the jail. So it's no good to me, basically, because I couldn't escape. So that sort of plan went.
Did there come a point then where you just were resolved to get on with it?
There was always sort of that shining light, though. There was always some sort of thing to give me a bit more hope. We got a lawyer on board from Birmingham. He was an Indian sort of heritage guy, and he come over, he paid a bit of money, got some other couple of lawyers in, paid the superintendent. We had like a meeting in the superintendent's office. He's like, I'm going to get you out. This is scandalous, blah, blah, blah. This shouldn't happen. I went, but this is Indian law, mate. It's different. You can't bounce over there saying this, that and the other. He went back home and they had a big meeting in Manchester. It was basically opening a chambers, a number 5 chambers it was called. So it was for his benefit, not mine. He started saying, oh, pay £20,000, I can get this lawyer. I can get that lawyer. I know the lawyer's better than you who's here, but I don't want to pay £20,000 to get that lawyer because it's not going to speed it up. They've got face value, but what they'll do is they'll get another lawyer that I paid £2,000 for, like I had, and they'll use them all the way. So...
And because of your innocence, did you remain quite optimistic, or was there a point where it started to take a toll on your mental health?
I knew I'd get out after 10 years. I knew it because there was no way it could do 20. Like I said, just basically had to take year by year. After the 3 years, 8 months, like I say, I found out about Kyle's cousin Dean being killed, and I found out my nan had died, and, obviously... They told me, you can't grieve as the same because you're finding out it happened 3 years ago. My mum told, to protect me, basically. But I said, I need to know these things, so in future, you need to tell me sort of the bad times as well so I can deal with it here, even though I can't do anything. Obviously, there's things I missed. My 2 granddaughters were born as well. That was another big times that I missed. And just your general everyday things, innit it, as well,
Did the conversation with the girlfriend occur around when you were sentenced?
Yeah, once I got to Colorpore, I managed to get hold of a phone in there after a month or so. and we was just texting, like I say.
Whoa!
That was good. I have to cut that bit.
Got a blooper.
Hey, I think that was my mum. Saying to Shantaram, be my mum. She keeps doing little things like
Does
this.
she?
She's doing little things like this just to make sure she knows she's still here.
See, do you see like white feathers? I see it. I
Yeah,
hear
a
a lot
couple
of
of
people
times,
say
yeah.
that when someone's passed, they see white feathers
Yeah,
lying
but
about.
she'd turn me music on and stuff like
What?
that, and yeah, just the telly will be going on and stuff, and I'm thinking, been a few things lately. I don't believe in that. And
Good? Yeah, all good. All right, cheers. So we're on about, was it the conversation with the girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I'll ask you again then. So the conversation with the girlfriend happened around the time you got sentenced, didn't it?
yeah, like a couple of months after I was sentenced, like I said, I went down to a place called Collarpore Prison. It was towards Goa, like 4 hours drive from Goa. The prison was less, it's not a big city basically, so it's more green as well. It was more spaced out. So that was a good, side of it. There's a lot of greenery there. Got a phone, like I say, about 6 weeks after. Got in touch with my ex-girlfriend, and obviously she was saying, I can't wait that long. And I was obviously in agreement. I said I wouldn't want you to. You've got to move on with your life and everything else, and sort of, but this is in the pipeline. I'm going to escape, and I'll be home anyway. And so, like I said, there was always a positive sort of with the negative as well.
Because they're going through it with you, aren't they?
Of course, I remember my mum saying it's like you're grieving. She was grieving me. You're not dead, but you're not there, and you're not in Spain where you can just nip across and, it's a 12-hour flight and stuff. There's a lot of money as well, and then you don't get the actual visit in the court. You can't hug them and stuff, and so...
If you love them and you're unrealistic, quite often you want them to stay with you, but if you love them and you're realistic, you don't want them suffering, you've got to set them free.
Yeah, correct, mate, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you cry after the breakup?
Do you know what? I think that was in the back of my mind because I just got 20 years, so that was my most. Do you know what I mean? That sort of overshadowed what's going on. Sort of with that. Obviously, I was upset.
She might be watching. But be careful what you say.
Well, yeah, she's got a new fella now, so I better add on to. No, I mean, we've never met after it. It caused problems with my next two relationships, to be honest. Yeah, because I had the thing where I wanted to meet her and get a closure type thing. But, that's another story anyway, so.
So, all right. So how did the conditions change from remand to sentenced?
Like I say, the conditions was virtually the same. You got the barrack systems, but there were smaller barracks. There was only 60 men in these, but there was obviously smaller space as well. You might have a little bit of a gap between each thing. There's a bit better. But after a few weeks, I was just couldn't adapt to that many people, and that it's always call it cow like the ravens and stuff. It was just you get no space where you can just go and just get a minute to yourself.
Had you picked up the basics of the language by that fourth year?
Yeah, I'd sort of knew 10%, 15% maybe, so I could get by with ones that knew a bit of English as well, really. So then I requested to be put in a separate barrack, and the only separates that was open at the time was in the hospital area. Now,
it's one of my favourite bits in the book.
Yeah. So in the hospital area, there was actually a lot cleaner. There was tiled, if you like, and it was quite relatively new compared to a lot of the other areas, with all the stones missing out of, you got big chunks missing out the floor and things. It's actually quite nice there. The only problem is everyone had HIV, or they had TB, or they had no legs or arms. I mean, there's a lot of disabilities like that in England, and that's what used to give me the motivation to carry on as well. I'm in a bad situation, but I'm not in his situation. Someone's washing his ass.
Describe moving into that. What was it like?
Into that area?
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't want to go at first. I've gone and sort of done a recce with someone. You can't walk about. It's very, very... I had freedom in the other jail. I was well respected, and look, now everything goes back to normal. The food's changed straight away.
Oh.
I'm on rice 3 times a day. I'm not getting eggs again now. I'm not with no gangster, you know. So that the living situation, again, you're putting like an afterbirth. So you like going back to step one, you know. Once you're sort of in a place, and then you can settle in, and you can, you know, work into sort of when you move from pillar to post, it's like, again, it's like you're back to square one.
Really stressful, isn't it? Every transition is stressful.
It is, yeah. It definitely is. So I wanted that separate. Now it was a case of, should I go with all these diseased people, or should I stay where I am now? Obviously, when I first went in, I was quite, what's it about HIV? I was ignorant. I didn't know sort of about the disease, and obviously you can't catch it by talking to people. So by that point, I'd realised that, yeah, I can live with these people, and they're actually normal human beings. Just unfortunate they've got this disease. There was another area called the Buddha Barrack, which is for old men over 60s and that. You know, they're sort of on the last breath and stuff. And then you've got the mental barrack next door. So some of the things that these mentalists done, you know, it'd be good entertainment every day. I moved in there. I become friendly with a guy called Sanjay. And what actually happened was I managed to get a phone. There was nowhere to hide it in the cell. So I used to dig a hole at the back of the cells. There was a tower at the back, so you used to get behind the wall, dig it, put it in. He used to watch out. I needed someone, as you know, some confident, if you like. At that point, I wasn't hiding it there. I was hiding it in my pillow, because the pillows, what you get, they have, you know, the coconut hair from around the coconut. They're stuffed with that. So for them to find the phone, they've got to rip all. I mean, they'd squeeze it and bend it, but it's only that big, innit? And it'd be right in. So unless they pulled it all out, I used to leave it in there. Now they know the people have got the potential to get a phone. They know Sanjay's not got 50,000 rupees to go and pay the guard for the phone, but they know I can do it. They always used to call me Kalatopa. And so Kalatopi means black cap. It's like a Gandhi thing, if you like. And it means you're very shrewd, you're very sort of switched on, and yeah, you could do that. And sort of streetwise, if you like. So they used to give me an extra search now and again. Do you know what I mean? A few months down the line, I had a bad knee. I'd had it for a couple of years, and I think it was a meniscus tear or something. I was limping a lot, and I couldn't train proper. So I requested to go back to JJ Hospital, which is in Mumbai. Now, you've got Mumbai, if you like, there on the southwest coast. 4 hours, 5 hours drive down, you've got Pune, which is your next metro city, if you like, with another big hospital. And then you've got a hospital in Kolhapur, but it's not like a government hospital. They're very, very far in between each other. I wanted to go to Arthur Road, requested. You have to write an application to the DIG. It's like the Director and Inspector General of all prisons within Maharashtra, which is the state. So you have to write to her. She's okayed it, but they've told me on the last minute, it was a Saturday morning, Sanjay was doing yoga in some barrack, and the superintendent's called me and went, right, get your stuff, you're going to Pune. I went, I'm not. He went, yeah, you are, you're going to hospital in Pune. So I went, no, I'm going to Arthur Road. He went, no, you're not, you got to Pune. I went, I don't want to go. He went, well, you can't cancel it. The guards are there waiting, you've got half an hour. What am I going to do with my phone? What am I going to do with the stuff I've got? So I went and got Sanjay, and luckily he dug it and then stuck it in the ground for 6 weeks till I got back. So
he was reliable.
He was a good lad.
What was his story?
He killed somebody for giving him the HIV. He killed the person, yeah.
Wow.
Because the person didn't tell him, the girl.
Oh my God.
Do you know how he killed her?
Stones.
Stoned her to death.
And, yeah.
Wow.
Big stones and that, yeah.
So was it quieter there in the hospital where you were staying?
It was more busy, I'd say, because in the daytime people be coming at certain points. You're allowed to go and get your tablets for any ailments. You know, if your arm's falling off, you can get a paracetamol. If your leg's falling off, they'll give you a paracetamol. If you're half dead, they'll give you everything. Paracetamol will clear everything. Yeah, I had malaria 5 times in the first jail.
Because in the book you describe entering a cell with all these people with arms and legs missing and eyes missing and stuff. What was that like, just seeing all those people?
I felt better. ironically, I felt better because I thought, I've not got a disability. I'm just unfortunate that I'm stuck here. And like I say, it was harder for my family. So I used to really feel for them. You know, it's easy. I know I'm all right. I'm okay. They don't know I'm okay. You know, so for every day for them, it was really tough, I'd say.
Was this where the dwarf came into it as well?
Yeah, he was in the hospital area, yeah.
What was he like?
He's a nice guy. Nice guy. He was actually very, very intelligent. Very, very intelligent guy. I couldn't speak to hardly any of them in the hospital area, but me and him used to... And in India, they walk hand in hand. It's like a mate thing, you know, you put your arm around your mate. They walk hand in hand.
Hand in hand?
Well, I'll give you a funny story. Back in 2007, I think me and my mum was in Goa on the beach, and she's like, these guys are watching. She went, Barry, have you brought me to the gay bit? I'm like, no. No, I went, that's just India. And the guy's saying, that's what they do. And I'd see it all over the jail. You know, big strapping guys, and they're like swinging hands. And I'm like, wow. It's just... So he'd always grab your hand. People, I'd go, no, we don't do that in England. We don't do that. No, it's a gay thing. Like, I'm not gay, we don't do that. But the Sandipi was called, rather, this dwarf. I used to walk up and down with him, you know, to pass your time with talk and that, conversing Hindi. He knew a bit of English. And a couple of times he grabbed my hand and go, whoa, and in the end I just started walking with him. Because I thought, it's like Kai, my son. I'd be doing at home. Kai would be about the same height now, you know, big grandson rather, yeah. So it was like having my grandson walking about, my grandson.
In your head, was that just normal at the time, or you're thinking, how surreal is this?
Oh,
That a Manchester man is walking along, holding a dwarf's hand in an Indian...
I know. Surreal, mate. Honestly, a lot of things were surreal. Just like, I had to give my head a wobble and think, where am I? What is this? What is this?
What else, apart from holding his hand, did you do to pass the time?
Well, they did at certain times. They'd done like a competition in the jail for a couple of years. A new superintendent come, who's quite good. So they'd have a cricket competition, sort of thing. So you'd be able to go out and you'd be able to watch that. They'd have like carom. They have a carom. It's basically like a 2 foot by 2 foot board, like a pool table, if you like, with pockets, and you have disc and you flip the disc. But they're like superb. But want to go in there, and they bring it back there. And so they'd have that and a chess sort of competition. So now and again, they would sort of put a bit of, get the boredom out of the way. After a few years, about 4 years into it, when I was there, maybe 3 or 4 years, they brought a yoga teacher from outside every day. And they've got like a stage area. So for your Diwali festival and all the Hindu festivals, you might have like, they'd all put on a dance or a bit of a song and, you know, everything else. So yeah, there was one point as well, they started on the tannoy system, they started playing a few songs every day, sort of between 1 and 2 p.m. while you're locked in. One of my friends, he used to get out on parole all the time. He was in for murder. Emil Jerome, he was, again, very well-to-do guy. He was in the Navy. The story about him, anyway, he ended up killing his girlfriend's lover. She got 3 years, he got 10 and got off. There's a film about him and everything, but he was going out. So luckily, for 3 months on parole, and then he was managing to bring in fire sticks, so I had like Bob Marley music, and so every day I'd be there, I'm like, you're playing one song for me every day. So to hear English music, it was incredible. After so long, you know.
I just want to expand on that because I found that an interesting part of the book, No Tension. He walked in on them, didn't he?
Who's that?
Oh, I was going to say, were they...
He walked in on them.
The lovers.
Yes.
So his missus in there.
Yes.
And then she was a co-conspirator in the murder, wasn't she?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, she hid the knife and everything. The newspaper said he got chopped up in 300 pieces. How do you cut someone up to 300 pieces? It was 3.
3.
He never admitted, but I used to ask him all the time. It was 3, yeah.
What, 3?
Head,
Heads?
body and legs, yeah.
Legs.
And they've dumped him in, they call the Western Ghats. It's loads of, obviously there's a lot of sparse land in India, so it's sort of all the foresty area. They've dumped him there, but they've been found. And
Wow.
but what a guy, what a nice guy.
And he was
You'd
lovely.
never think.
was
Honest to God, he was so nice, sweet guy. You would never put this.
I found that with crime of passion people
Crime
as
of
well.
passion.
They
It
live
is.
completely normal lives, got a job, missus, family, whatever. Come home one day, missus is banging the pool cleaner,
Yeah.
gets the gun out, bam. Like,
Well,
you saw
that's
that in
it.
Arizona.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you blank it, don't you? It's a
Yeah.
blank, innit? You know.
Yeah.
He's blanked out for a few minutes. They've ended up stabbing him, and right, what do we do?
Sometimes
Chop
they
him
kill
up and
both of
hide
them
him.
though as well, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so he used to bring, like I say, the fire stick, the USB stick, so to get music on now and again. But it wasn't all good. Like I said, the yoga was brilliant for me, especially. I started doing it for a couple of years. Then I actually started teaching everyone the yoga
Oh, brilliant,
after a
man.
bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for an hour and a half every morning, it was fantastic. You've got the birds tweeting, you've got the warm weather. You could really get into it, and it's like a natural high. And I feel so relaxed through the day, and all my tension's gone. No tension.
Yoga and meditation got me through it as well. It's
Yeah.
brilliant, isn't it?
It is.
the only thing I hear from prison stories that really benefits people is yoga.
Yeah, but out there as well, because it's their thing. You'd see these yoga masters. They'd be 85 years old with not a single wrinkle.
Wow.
They'd be bending the legs. They'd be walking erect, like upright. Look like a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
And because they're everything's pure. There's no shit going in there. No everyday.
Yeah.
It's just, honest to God, they look godly. Like an aura around them, like a glow, and everyone comes and touches their feet, and like there's some type of God. But yeah, I'd do it. Obviously, where I was in Kolhapur, there's so many languages in India, it's untrue. Hindi's the main language, but in Maharashtra, they also speak Marathi, is their mother tongue. Now, I learnt a bit of Marathi as well, mainly numbers and other things, and it's very similar to Hindi as well. So I'd speak in a bit of English, a bit of Hindi, and a bit of Marathi, So it'd be like sort of, Ekswasat Ambahi. So it's like, take a breath in and out. Yeah, and then it'd be ek, do. So you count them then to hold the breath and then release 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I used to teach them for an hour. Used to go back to my barrack and maybe have a bit of breakfast. You get yellow rice for breakfast, or another thing like I couldn't even describe it. It's like a wheat type thing all squashed together on a Thursday. But you have a bit of breakfast, and then I'd basically go for a walk round the barracks, walk it off, and then do a bit of training. We used to make makeshift weights from clay. Like get a bit of a pole, nails in the end, mix it with the coconut hair, and then set it in the sun, and you'd have dumbbells and stuff. So.
And speaking of your workout regimen, we've got Baz's actual diaries that documented his journey through the system. And I'll let you read some of that, because every day you document your exact exercise routine, aren't you?
Did I put it in this as well? I've
Yeah.
not even looked at it, mate.
Could you read a couple of them for the viewers? Yeah, so
I
they
can't
can
even
see.
read my own writing, You got your glasses on. It's so thin. Yeah, basically it starts with exercise, and I can't even read that, to be honest, mate. I need my glasses on.
Do you want me to
Do you
have
want
a
me
look?
to
Yeah,
Do
go
you
on.
want to have a do it, Jen?
The eyesight's
Exercise.
going now.
You've got the best eyes.
Feroz gone court.
Yeah, that's for those who was staying with.
Oh, so he's gone to court. Karim and sorted out letters, cards. Oh, so exercise. You haven't said what you're doing, no, for exercise. Tuesday. Weights not rejoined. Stomach and a few dips, except.
Right, yeah. So I probably, logged in what I was doing every day. Just basically, in the morning, write a few lines. At the
I like this.
lock-in, and write a few.
Yeah, no rain today. Too hot. Had a good kit.
Had a good kit.
Yeah.
Keep going, Jen. These are fascinating.
Lunch, 2 games of Woo.
Ludo, it might
Lou?
be. Might be Ludo, that.
You were beat 2-1 though.
Oh, was it? well, that didn't happen often. That was probably... That's an odd one, that.
But what's this?
Yeah.
Movies.
Oh, yeah, we actually got...
Movies,
Yeah,
yeah.
at one time, they paid for a 32-inch flat screen TV. Obviously, they paid all the guards and the hierarchy. Obviously, the superintendent gets the most. The next person, the 3-star, will get some, the 2-star down to whatever. Now, because they all had money in my area, we arranged to, I tell you what, all these gangsters, they fight like girls, honestly. Honest to God, the bitching that was going on. So basically, I done a rota, right? So we'd get it for 4 days. One area didn't want it. The Muslims, they didn't want to watch telly or movies. So again, Ray would bring like a fire stick, and one day we'd watch like all day, just lay in the, what's it on you? We watch Fast and Furious 1 to 6 or something like that, all the Rocky films. Fantastic time that. We had that for a few months.
But it says in here, one movie you watched had no subtitles.
All right. Some were Hindi, obviously. Some were Hindi movies. So you'd have to sit through them and try and sort of work it out. But again, with Hindi movies, like the Bollywood movies, it'd be an action film, you know, the people getting blown up and shot. And then halfway through, call it item number. And you get a dance. There'd be dance for 10 minutes, you know, in the middle of a war film. It's just madness. But the item number in the Bollywood films is the main thing that they actually want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of all the dancing and it's madness. Mad.
So Father's Day had chill haircuts.
Got your hair cut?
Oh, yeah, once a week they come round with the cutthroat blades, so...
Can you read the rest of that one? See if it triggers any memories in him.
It spoke Remy and Vijay Palande.
Vijay Palandia, that's one of Santosh's shooters. Yeah.
So it had ganja today.
No, yeah. Happy days.
Went 8N, had 2 chills and top 500.
You know what the chills is?
Chillum.
Yes, she's already knew.
And got top 500p strong Mal. Give medical whacker money. WAKAH.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Give medical whacker money. Got Rizzler for joint tonight. Smiley face. And then you did a lot of reading, finished reading City of Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a good
Oh,
book?
I've read many books. I probably
Oh,
read
sure.
500 books. That was my time, especially on my own in the sort of second jail. So,
Here's one. 36 degree high. 25 degree low. Hottest. Not too bad today. Not brilliant kip, but getting motivated again. Done 3 sets of bicep curls, side bicep curls, bar dips, shoulder press, and lat raises, and a little smiley face.
I do like the little smileys throughout.
Tamby boy, not gone. Still waiting for papers to come. Had some prunes and finished the pineapple off.
oh yeah, she's got a bit of fruit as well at that time.
Did you get a poorly tummy from that? Prunes?
Well, I'll tell you the story about. I have got a bad stomach now, and I blame this on India. It's basically they have your drinking water comes out of the same pipe as your washing water. Now they'll say a certain time, maybe they switch over some valve, but I used to fill up in the Collarpore jail where I spent most of my time. I used to get a clay pot. It's called a matka. Call it an Indian fridge. So it keeps things cool, basically. So I fill that with the water. So I have cold water throughout the day. But I used to put a bit of cotton or from one of your old vests or something over as a filter, and you used to pull it away, and you'd have a big brown stain. So you think, what type of water you're actually drinking, you know?
Recycled sewage water.
It was. And then I used to get, from the embassy, used to come every 3 months for a visit. So fortunately, I used to give him a list of what I wanted, all my stuff. You didn't get everything, but you could get most stuff. I used to put in like these, it's a drop basically, you can add to your water. It's like a chlorine, if you like to again clear it. So, but the water and stuff.
Did you start to get symptoms then in your stomach?
Well, I come home after a couple of months, I got a thing called diverticulitis, which is in your bladder and, in your colon and everything else. And so I do suffer
It's
from
rough,
that
isn't
now.
it?
Yeah, so I do suffer from that.
Let me continue. Tamby boy gone at last. He's over the moon. buzzing for him after 2.5 years. Which one was that then?
I can't remember, Like I said, this is 2011. I think it's an Indian guy. I think he was a police. He was in the police, that one.
Was he?
Sammy, yeah. See, what they do in India as well, they have a lot of encounters. So one gang will pay the police to kill another gang.
Like in Mexico.
Gang member, yeah. What they'll do, they'll take him to the forest, get him out, they'll shoot him, they'll fire a couple of other bullets off like it's an encounter. Like he's trying to shoot them first, sort of thing.
Yeah.
He was in for that.
This is confusing. No one guards all week again.
That's probably no one got guards all week or something.
To go out?
Yeah. What actually happened at the time as well, they was doing IPL, the Indian Premier League. It's for the cricket. And all the guards were covering that. So no one was going to court. You see. So it's like the guards in the prison are the same. They all wear the same uniform. The guards on the road and everything,
Tammy boy comes back. He mustn't have had his papers ready. Poor C-word. Read most of book and done a puzzle. What type of puzzles are you doing?
I used to do sort of what my mum sent, word searches, Sudoku master I am. Sudoku master, I can do it blindfolded, just anything to pass the time, I'd write a letter, might do a puzzle, and then I'd read a book, and that'd pass you sort of a good few hours sort of till the night. And then, to be honest, I was asleep by 10 every night and up at 5 because the call to prayer sort of wake you up anyway. It'd start in one barrack, and then it'd be on that barrack, and then it'd be like all around the jail you do.
And that's the Muslim prisoners, is it?
Yeah.
Tambi had quite a day, and this is all happening on August 4th, because then he got released later on. You had an apple and wrote an email for Mum and Hev. Read all papers, now interesting though. Had 4-way woo. Me, Bo, Remy, and Muzzy.
It's 4 games of Ludo. It's probably a 4-way Ludo, 4 players, that, yeah.
I won but didn't finish because Bandy. Or Bundy.
Oh, Bundy. Bundy means locking, basically.
Oh, lockdown,
Bundy's locking, yeah. Yeah. So.
Exercise and got proper bent. Off Sohan, give 500 Taka, Takka.
Oh, Taka, yeah. Taka's one of the guys there, yeah. So I met that many people. Some have been there for a year, some have been a few months, some have been, a really long time sort of thing. So, but I was getting messages from different prisons. There was some people come back and go, they've all been asking about you, and how's Baz, the foreign guy, and that.
So there was some Mexicans in there. Not a bad sleep in the open bit. I got my old spot, hot night again, though. Done another application for Mexicans for money, because got 3,000 sent again. What was the deal with the Mexicans then?
Well, what it was there was 3 of them, and his wife. There was basically the diamond thieves, but very
diamond
good,
thieves.
very good. So they've come over. It's a place called Gorriagon. They've done a diamond exhibition. They've managed to get £1 million worth of diamonds.
What?
Yeah. They've all gone to the airport. Now they're flying via Italy. Sorry, one of the guys is going to Italy. Yeah. They've DHL'd most of them. His wife has put the rest of them in a purse. Yeah. So he said to us, they're at the airport. They're going to Dubai, then on to wherever they're going. So he said, the plane gets delayed an hour, yeah? Then the call comes, they're all passengers. So he said, we walk in. He said, I'm looking there, the boarding, and then come with me. We were 2 minutes away from getting on the plane. Well, they've done their own work, the Indian, I used to think it was a banana republic, the country, but it's not. It's very powerful. The GDP and everything. They're a big world player now. I didn't think they had technology for stuff like that, but they was on them, and they're in Dubai, and they was arresting them at the airport.
Wow.
They got... obviously, everyone perused the law books to try and get loopholes and everything else. Now, in their case, what they could have done was, all the diamonds were recovered straight away, but the guy from Hong Kong that was doing the exhibition wanted 75,000 English as recompensation because he had to come from Hong Kong to India for the trial, etc., etc. Now, if they paid that, then they only do a quarter of the sentence. Now, they got 7 years. They'd already done 18 months, I think, so they only had 3 months left, but they had to pay 75 grand.
Wow.
And you were saying in a previous podcast how you were quite stunned that there were people who were in the same prison who'd been obviously smuggling heroin, we'll say class A drugs into it, getting shorter sentences, and you got such a long sentence.
Yeah, I mean, they'd normally give, like I say, the minimum of 10. If it was a large amount, you might get 15, for like 30 kilo or something like that. But with the quantity and the actual being a psychotropic type drug, not a narcotic drug, you wouldn't have expected to get more than that. Yeah, there's no clarity how one can be that and one can be that. Because drugs are different, aren't they? Different categories. So
You're so positive, but I found a down day.
yeah.
95 degrees, 30 something degrees. Not had a good sleep again, feeling sick with worry and feel really, really down. Tried to lie back down, but been raining heavy for the past 2 days. Flies landing on me and water pissing in the cell.
Oh yeah, I used to get leaks all the time.
Need to snap out of it, but just can't. An octopus called Paul in the paper.
Oh, Paul the Octopus.
Oh,
who
right,
predicted
remember that. Yeah,
football
yeah.
scores.
Start
The
of
World Cup scores, was it?
Yeah.
2010, that would have been, I think, yeah.
So those moments then, how did you pull yourself out of those dark moments?
Kick myself up the arse, to be honest. I used to look around, like I say, Sean, I used to look at people and think, how can you feel sorry for yourself? They're not getting letters. They've got no love behind them. They've got no support. They've got no money. They've got nothing. You're in a bad situation, but you've got to be more positive. I had grandkids to come home to. But I'll tell you, the worst times for me personally was 2010. I got malaria 5 times within an 8-month period.
From the mosquitoes, is that?
We used to be there, they'd be buzzing. We used to have competition. We'd go and see how many blood splats you could get. I think I got 8 once. So that was the 8 in one go. And yeah, zzz, zzz, zzz. Headache it was sometimes. But that area, because the monsoons and because of the stagnant water and stuff from the back, that's why I was coming in. Like I said, I got malaria the first time and it was horrible. They took me to the hospital wing and I was in this hospital wing and I thought, wow, I'm going to get a bed at last. And it's got a quilt on. It's like one of the quilt about this thick. And I looked at it and it was like, name what's crawling on there and what's staying. It was absolutely disgusting. Honestly, absolutely disgusting. I sent a guy back to my cell. I got a towel. I put the towel on it. I just lay there for 2 days. Couldn't move.
What was the symptoms?
Headache, banging headache, sickness, diarrhea, just feeling so weak and low. Oh yeah, you're getting cold sweats and your temperature's dead high and everything else. But you know what they give me? Paracetamol.
Cure for everything.
Paracetamol. Honestly, I requested to get malaria tablets from the embassy after the second time, but by the third time and fourth time, I didn't even go to hospital. I just sat in my own cell. Sort of within 5-6 hours, I shook it off because I think my body's got stronger against it, sort of thing. But that was the worst time. I mean, the first time it was monsoon, and I've gone to it's like on the first floor, the hospital area. I've gone looking out, and like I said, there's a rectangular structure and the water fills up in it overnight. People will come with the jugs or whatever they've got and wash in the morning. And I've gone looking and it's pissing down with rain. I'm looking at all these Indians all fighting and throwing water. And I thought, I want to die. I don't want to be here no more. I'm just so low. Because I was so feeling sorry for myself, I was like, I want to be with my mum in my own bed looking after me, It was such a bad time, like. And I've got to say, the other hardest time was my last 3 months.
Really?
Yes, because obviously around 2018, the case finally was before the judge, and it was a division bench because it was 20 years. You have a division bench. Anything over 10, you have 2 judges. These 2 judges have decided, which I already knew, it has to be concurrent, so they put it to 10 years. Then it went before a single bench. Now, the single judge was very harsh. She was on the prosecution side all the time. My lawyer's saying, hang on, I've only got less than a year left, hang on. Gets the right judge in, the lady judge. Now, it was in April, all the arguments had finished. The prosecution's arguments had finished. My lawyer's arguments. They had to give a decision. So every day I'd be waiting for my name. Barry Hulse, Tallypot Bistro, like saying, get your pot and your thing and you go in. Every day I'd be waiting. Do you know how long it took? 3 months to give a yes or no. 3 months.
Torture.
I went through hell, I did. It was hell. Every day, what's going to happen? Well, I've only got 6 months anyway. I've only got 5 months. But them last 4 or 5 months, I didn't want to do. That was going to be the hardest, the longest to finish the 10. And I wanted to be acquitted. I was innocent. You know, I wanted me freedom back and everything else. And like I say, to give that yes or no decision and write a report took 3 months.
I wanted to know the process from when you left getting back to the UK.
Well, sorry
all
I'm
right.
kicking you. Well, that's another sort of story on its own. There's a full chapter of that in the book and more. Like I said, the judge done me a massive favour because she gave me a judgment of he needs to be deported within 10 days. Now, like I said, the prosecution tends to try and keep you there free at 6 months and everything to challenge I know, they already screwed your life, they want to do it more. So basically she put that into place where it done me a massive favour because they all know what they like. So the judge has done me a big favour there. Obviously, I'm expecting them to deport me. Now, I was acquitted on the Wednesday and Ray's come to the July the 5th. I found out. Superintendent called me to the office, stood up, congratulations, shook my hand and all that. We was a pretty good pally, we was. And I was like, Ray's coming tomorrow, he's bringing a car, and I'm going. He's like, yeah. Ray comes down the next morning. I'm packed up, ready to go. And he's like, no, you can't. We've got to wait for the customs to take you. They've got to put you in a detention centre. So I was like, well, we don't know. It's not happened like this before. Blah, blah, blah. Gets to the Friday. I've walked to the superintendent's office. I went, I'm free. So he went, I know you are. I went, so if I walk out of there now, you better tell all them not to shoot me because I'm getting off. I'm free to go. I've spent all this time, I want to go. So he done me a big favour. He spoke with them, they okayed it. He got one of the guards from in the jail to come out with me on the Friday afternoon. We've jumped on the back of his motorbike. Surreal it was. Jumps on the back of his motorbike, goes to the Collapore bus stand, gets some fried bread or something from a little stall, gets on a coach to Pune, gets off at Pune, that's 5-hour drive, gets off at Pune, obviously I've arranged with Ray. He's now got a baby and a girlfriend over there, he's been there so many years. He's only got a 1-bedroom place, it's very expensive to live in Mumbai and you don't have much in there. So I get there about 2 a.m. He's phoned his friend, he thinks we're having a big party and stuff, gets a bottle of brown, went, ain't happening this, mate. So he's like, right, can I trust you? I went, I want to get out of the country. I'm not going to get off anywhere. I'm acquitted. I want to go. So on the Monday, what we had to do was meet and go to the Foreign Office to do a load of paperwork. So at a Sunday, we went down Bandra, got my first ice cream. Oh, it tasted like heaven, honestly. And then the Monday morning, Ray sort of come with me, worked out the crazy train system in Mumbai. It's absolutely mental. Gets on different trains, gets to Mumbai, meets the guy. Oh, sorry, it was the Saturday morning, it was the next morning. Gets to the place, it's only closed because every second Saturday, because they're so lazy, Indians, they shut everything down, government buildings. That wasn't open, so he's like, you're going to have to come back to Kolhapur. I went, sling it, are you mad? You think I'm going 12 hours travelling back? Get out of it. So what he done, took me to a women's prison. There was an old 2-star officer there, give him the paperwork, and I had to meet him on the Monday. Met him on the Monday, done some other paperwork on the Tuesday, relaxed Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, gets a phone call from my lawyer, get to the High Court, to try to keep me there. So again, it's all in the book, but there's a big rigmarole after that as well, to get out of the country. And then 2 years ago, I got a letter from Openshaw Division International Police saying India have asked for order of service, I think they call it. I asked Alexa what it was, actually, and she told me they basically want me back in the country to face trial again.
Absolutely
and I was
not.
thinking about going to Goa, so thank God. And
Imagine that if you.
they would have kept me there 12 years. Honestly, it takes that long in the Supreme Court. It took 6 in the High Court.
Oh my God.
You're going to be stuck there.
This is crazy.
You're going to be stuck there.
Yeah.
So,
So if those officials are watching this now, what do you say to them?
do you know what? I'm still in contact with a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
I am. There's a few decent guys, you know, the younger lads who used to bring you swag in and stuff like that. And there was all right, you know. There's a few. I'm still in contact with a lot of people, actually, from India. Ray's like my brother. He done so much for me while I was out there. Santos Shetty, I speak to him, but he doesn't very rarely call on a satellite phone or something. He's very, he won't speak on the phone and he won't, he's very...
What was going through your head on the flight home?
I still wasn't convinced I was getting home. Honestly, I mean, I was on that... When I had to be escorted out of the country, if you like. There was 2 officers in the airport. They trusted me. I turned up at 1 a.m. for the flight. The guys walking with me everywhere, wouldn't leave my side. Said, right, I'm going to the toilet. Walked to the toilet next minute. A guy with a shade, you know, in the corner, stood behind the post. He started walking after me. I was like, for real? I went, he's with you, innit? He went, yeah. So like, I'm not getting off anywhere. You know, I've been on my own for the last few days. I don't want to stay in this stinking country for 1 minute more. But anyway, he said, I said, when I check in and that, you'll go. He went, oh no, when the plane's in the air, I leave. Sat on the plane, I was expecting a fleet of police cars to come and drag me off. Even at that point, I was on autopilot. For the last week, I've been on autopilot, court back, embassy back, doing this, doing that. Until I landed, and then I breezed through sort of passport control, jibbed all the queue, and they give the paperwork in. And I got through, and it was a London airport. No offence, but I kissed the floor, even though it was Manchester. I kissed the floor because it's British soil, and and I was a bit blasé. My son was there and my mate, and they jumping up, and I'm trying to get duty free. Trying to get me duty free, and he went, "Come here." So so
how would it feel to give your son a hug?
Oh, amazing! I mean, we went to the petrol station on the way out. And I've gone and went, 10 cigs, please. And they went, 10 cigarettes? We don't do 10s anymore. It's like everything changed, like yourself, text messages. I come out and everyone's got these big iPads doing this every second, third person. I'm like, what's this phone about, you know?
Yeah.
What was the most bizarre tech thing you've seen coming out?
It's probably that, really. Social media had gone crazy. The youth of today, I don't know, it was just because I'd missed it for 10 years and didn't sort of want in it progressing. That was a big sort of shock. I couldn't really get my head round a lot of it. It's a bit fake, a lot of it, you know. I look at my life and it's not really like that, is it?
No.
And then again, like I said, I was scrolling up instead of down, zooming out instead of in on the phone, and you know, it took a lot of few things to get used to it, sort of thing. So,
what was your first meal?
What did my mum make? I think it wouldn't have been a curry, even though I never had it over there.
Oh, what was it like seeing your mum for the first time?
Yeah.
I mean, there was all waiting in the house, my mum's house. Yeah, obviously my 3 grandchildren. I mean, I'd seen my mum. Yeah, I'd seen my mum. I spoke with Kai on the phone and stuff, and obviously the girls didn't know. They were sort of 3 and 5 at the time, or even younger. Yeah, 2 and 4, I think. So to see them, obviously, and one guy was like, Uncle Baz, and I went, who are you? It was me brother's son, but he changed so much. You know, he was now sort of 18 from 8, and his face had changed and everything. I didn't even know he was, sort of thing, because I'd not seen any pictures of him. But yeah, I mean, what a moment. I think it's hot pot or something like that. It was some northern grub anyway, some mother's love cooking that you'd really miss, you know. And then she'd run me a bath, and she'd hear all these stories of you won't get to sleep in a bed for weeks and everything else. And I got in this bath and I felt like a Muslim myself, like I'd gone to heaven with all the virgins. Honestly, this bubble bath, I just felt so lucky. I did. I felt so like privileged, and I think I fell asleep in there. My mum's like, Paddy, you all right? After half an hour, I was like, I'm all right. And I got in the bed and I slept like a baby. Honestly, say it was just getting back to society, innit it? You know, because you're completely out of that society. It did take a good few months to become sort of me again.
Have you
Just.
made it last, that appreciation and wonderment?
Oh, to this day. And now, one thing I can say is you take every day like it's your last. You know, you don't know what tomorrow brings. I would never have expected in a million years what tomorrow brings for me, you know. And it's just, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today.
Have you heard or seen anything from the guy who's responsible for you going to
No,
prison?
he's disappeared from the... I believe he went to Ireland and down London. Then I got told he was around my area. And at first I was driving past in his house and I thought, you know, if I see him, what will I do? Will I go back to jail for murder? Because I don't know. He could never give me compensation for them 10 years. Even £1 billion won't suffice. Smashing his face in wood. And I don't want to do go into the same situation. So I try and avoid that he'd be around there and things, you know. And I did certain times, you know, prayer was very helpful. And I learned at that point in time that don't forget, but forgive and let us, you know. And I try and take the positives, to be honest. I take all the positives. It was a university of life. I can go around Cheetah Mill where all the Pakistanis are, know what they're saying. They can't call me behind my back and they go, and they look when I'm speaking and they're like, some of them actually buzz off it and think, you know, it's a great thing. But then you get some of them like, bald white man there knowing our lingo. Don't like it. Yeah, they don't like it. Don't like it. But yeah, so that's a positive again. You can set up. So I think you know, all the negatives, you've got to try and put them into a positive in a way.
When I was at the airport in London when I got deported, and I ended up sitting down. There was a soldier who just got back from some war-torn district, and we were talking, and we were looking at all of the people of England, and we were thinking, these people they don't know how good they've got it. They take everything for granted in this country.
Yeah.
And having experienced everything get taken away, and life and death doesn't mean much. You see, do you have that? You know?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. Yeah. I mean, until you put in that situation, you'd never know. You'd never can appreciate, because we're born into a society where, you know, we can eat good food. We've got privileges in life. You know, we live a nice life. And if you've not got a job or you're struggling, we've got a government that will help you out to a certain degree. They don't have that. You know, there's probably hundreds of millions over there that are living on the street. Or they've got like a little tent type. I mean, even the slum areas now, you've got to pay rent in Mumbai. You know, there's, I don't know if you've ever seen, what's it called? Based on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The Mumbai.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire. So that is Terr0rist, which is a big area. So you've got multi-millionaires living in these high-rises with the view of all these shed tops, all these, you know, corrugated roofs.
You give me a flashback to Shantaram then, where the rats come in the night, don't they? Waves of rats come through the slums in the night. Everyone's getting off the road, and they just devour anything in front of them. If there's little kids out or anything, they're gone with the rats.
What, but they take kids?
Well, they just, because there's so many of them sort of
it's
rushing.
Like a tidal wave of rats comes down in the middle of the night.
And they eat kids?
Everyone's got to get off the streets.
No, they'll take you with them though, because there's so many. Take you off your feet, wouldn't it? And crazy.
So have you been to any of these Thunderdome reunions?
I've not.
Shout out to the Thunderdomers.
Yeah.
The conspiracy heads.
Yeah, that's the one. I've not seen any, to be fair. I mean, there's Reminisce that's happening. A couple of Hacienda reunions. Like I say, I was in that restricted forest in Blackburn. Saturday gone. Yeah,
raving at the weekend?
All day off.
Still raving from Manchester?
Still raving while I can. Until my legs give up. Yeah.
What DJs were you into back in the Thunderdome days and conspiracy days?
Well, there's a friend of ours. I don't know if you know Awesome 3. That's a group.
No.
Please don't. No, it's not that one. It's there's a few songs anyway.
Yeah.
He was a DJ at the time, so we used to sort of go and follow him. We'd be in Leeds on a Tuesday night in the Leeds warehouse, and sort of go all over. But a big one was Maxime's in Wigan. They used to do the old Scooby there sort of every month. And
we were into like Jay Weird and 808 State, Stu Allen,
Sasha
Manchester
and-
Piccadilly, all that,
Yeah. Well, there was a club there as well at that in Piccadilly there. He used to DJ a lot there. That's Sasha.
Soundgarden. Yeah,
He's got a better memory than me.
With the springy dance floor. Yeah, you can really bounce on that one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, man will be on Billy Wiz and Disco Biscuits bouncing up and down at Soundgarden.
It's just like a box place, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
There's nothing special about it. It's like that's the end of the all rave
91.
about it, and it's it's not a brilliant club. To us, it's not.
If you weren't on anything, it's just a bare square room, some of them, weren't they? And people like waiting to come up on the...
That's it. You're on something, you can make it what you want it to be, can't you?
And the music, it sounds like Signals from Outer Space, but as soon as the E hits you, it's like, it all makes sense.
it certainly does. Certainly does. Yeah.
Baz, is there anything you want to say before we finish, or any stories we've missed out?
I think we covered most of it. Obviously, there's a lot more stories in the book. So...
No tension.
Yeah, I called it No Tension because, like I say, all the Indians had come up to me the first few months and they say, "Tomorrow case," can they say, like, "What's your case like?" sort of thing, what you're here for. I said, "Diazepam." They go, "No tension, Baba, no tension." So it stuck in my head, you know. And in the end, they used to say, "It used to say 8,000 miles of tension, me, mate. I'm not from this country. I've got 8,000 miles of tension." So that's why I named it that, really.
You still doing the yoga that you started?
I do it before my gym.
Do you?
So 20 minutes,
Nice warm-up.
Stay flexible,
Yeah.
Still get flip my legs over my head and all that.
Can you?
Yeah, yeah. It does keep you supple, sort of our age as well.
Yeah, totally.
So
we love it. All right, so all of Baz's links are in the description box below this video if you want to check the book out. Is it paperback and ebook?
Yeah, I mean, it's on paperback and hardback at the minute.
Hardback, paperback.
It's on Kindle edition.
Kindle.
Yeah.
Have you got an audio book in progress?
I'm looking at bringing the audio book out soon as well for people that don't sort of like to do the reading.
And if people want to message you or support you or follow you online, you're on Instagram and Facebook.
I am, yes.
What are those pages under? What names?
It's under Baz Hulse.
Yep.
Hulse Baz.
How's Hulse spelt?
Hulse.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got some pages under No Tension as well?
Yeah, we've just set that up, myself and my sister, a few... is he kicking then?
Yeah,
It was a kick in the book. Don't be kicking, man.
He's doing yoga.
Kicking. He's listening to us, Fancies a bit of the fun, I think. Yeah, so like I say, it's on them free platforms on Amazon. I'll be bringing out an audiobook soon. There's a No Tension page that we've just set up as well. I'm looking into getting my own website as well because I do believe people want to speak with you about the book, you know, and did this happen, or, you know, what happened to your ex-girlfriend, or, you know, basic things like that. So I am in the process as well of getting this website set up as well.
You're a very good speaker, Baz. Have you thought about doing a YouTube or a TikTok, anything like that?
I'm not at the minute, I mean, but I'm open to do anything, me, you know.
Yeah.
I've had brilliant feedback from the book, I've got to say. It's sort of gone beyond my sort of where I thought it would, you know. I like to say that'd been my mum that from up there, probably pushing it on to everyone, but the feedback's been fantastic. It has been brilliant. I don't think I've had one bad comment of everyone, you know.
Yeah.
It's made loads of women cry. That's true to form. I've done that over my time. Done it with words now. But yeah, the feedback's been fantastic. Everyone's saying, make it a film. It's got to be a film. And, you know, maybe one day it could be a film. And, you know, so we'll just see where it goes. And I'm just glad to get it out there. I always promised my mum I'd do that. Unfortunately, I lost her late last year.
Sorry to hear.
But I know she would have read it now from up there, and she'd be dead proud that it's done. You know, I've done it all myself and everything else. So yeah, and hopefully there's no spelling mistakes in it, because that's my big hate, that, you know, the spelling mistakes. So I believe it's not at the minute. So
well, what a fantastic journey you've took us on today. We really appreciate it. And for all the viewers out there, let us know in the comments what you think. Shout out to Terr0rist as well for hooking this up. You check out our podcast with him. And also, please go down and support Baz on his socials, or if you want to get his book as well. All right, man, give us a hug.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers.
Oh, give us a hug.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.